Good morning, Los Angeles. It's going to be another rainy day. Welcome back to the... Forget we said that. And my name is Relytan.
I'm Alyssa Riot.
And I'm Legion Lion.
Today we're talking about cyberpunk
Yes,
movie.
cyberpunk.
Yeah, I know. I've been playing Cyberpunk, the quintessential sequel to the quintessential movie for Cyberpunk, Blade Runner 2049. And well, it was actually my choice, so it's one of my favorite movies, I guess. Definitely one of my favorite movies recently, but
Top 10?
it's damn close. I mean, we were talking about how into Ryan Gosling we all are, so it's that definitely helps it for me. And of course Anna de Armas, but yeah, it was my choice, and I'm a big Cyberpunk fan, so revisiting. I mean, personally, I watched both movies, so revisiting it was actually really fun for me. But yeah, how did you guys like it? How did it take you?
It was a first for me. I've never seen the original, and this was my first time seeing the new one with Ryan Gosling. I liked it a lot. It's better than Children of Men by far.
Oh wow! You mean my number one favorite movie? Wow.
Aqua likes his
Right.
dystopian movies.
Yeah,
He's
I don't know what it
proved
is.
them
It's a
so
mood.
far.
Yeah, it is dystopian, both of those. I liked it a lot. It was really cool. I had a hard time figuring it out at first. I was like, wait, what? Are they robots or are they humans? I don't get it. And then it's only some of them, right? It's only some people are. I was like, is this like Detroit becomes human? Like they're scared of the AI? I was trying to figure it out. But no, I liked it. And I did not expect the end. I thought something completely different, and then the twist got me. I was kind of
This is
sad.
an Aqua movie. There is no happy ending.
Well,
I
yeah.
know. Everything is fucking sad. It was still good, though. I did like it.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, I love this movie. Like I've told these guys so much times, Denis Villeneuve is like one of my favorite directors. He's made this movie. He's made the Dune remakes. He's going to make the last Dune remake. He's made Arrival. And one of my top 10 movies, probably Sicario, which is an awesome movie about revenge and stuff like that. Strangely, this is not strangely, but usually when people think of sequels, they think of bad things, right? Especially sequels that have happened way later than the original movie. But this one feels like a good sequel, and in my opinion, better than the first one. I don't know if that's controversial, but to me it is.
I mean,
It's a little bit of a tighter movie. It's succinct.
I
I remember
remember
it feels naturally good.
we agreed on that, and I might still agree, but after having watched the original, I will say I think I didn't do it enough justice remembering it, and upon rewatch, especially after watching the sequel and then watching it and then watching the sequel right afterwards, I think it's pretty. It has a good. It's a good flow throughout the two movies. It's hard to totally say the sequel was better, but I know where you're coming from because I do sort of agree with you. But I definitely think it's worth watching both back to back. I think that was
That's
a
true.
great
I
experience.
think you don't need the first one to understand the second one, but it does make for a more enriching experience if you do watch the first one.
I do want
Things
to
are a
see
little
it.
bit more contextualized, and you can kind of get people's emotions a little
And
bit
I
better
mean-
because you have context.
Yep, and
at
good,
that point.
great practical effects from the 80s. Was it 82? I already forgot. I should have brought it up.
84.
84. Okay.
84.
Okay.
84.
Yeah, good practical effects. It didn't feel dated, not really, and especially when it's trying to be cyberpunk, it's trying to be futuristic. I do have respect for these movies because I think it's something that maybe I don't know if how much I would have thought about it, but it's sci-fi and it's about space. There is space travel and stuff, but it never goes there. I really respect the fact that it stays grounded literally in dirty ass Los Angeles. I mean, I guess
Dirty ass Earth.
yeah, dirty ass San Diego, which is just a huge landfill now.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. But yeah, I respect it for staying in kind of and staying true to its kind of roots. It never it mentions, it alludes to space travel, but it never ever really shows it.
I expected it for sure because I've never seen. I had never seen either movie, so I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be spaceshipy," but no, they stayed. The only thing was him driving around his little Tesla thing. That was,
Right.
Flying Tesla.
yeah, his flying Tesla. But that was the only like space thing.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
he's like flying through the air. You can almost imagine it like flying into space.
Yeah, it really did remind me of Detroit Becomes Human.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of similar.
I wouldn't be surprised if it had inspiration.
I know. So is the
yeah.
first movie, the 1984 one, is that one just as long? Is that like a 3-hour movie as well?
No, it's like it's not quite 2 hours.
It's two something.
It's
220 or something like that.
Oh yeah,
I'm
yeah. It's
gonna
not
watch
too.
that.
Yeah, it's like 115 minutes or something like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But Roger Deakins, who's like the director of cinematography, so much respect to him because like as I was talking to them when we were watching the movie, like a lot of frames could just be like a background or like a
Right.
beautiful painting.
Yes.
Just like so many like cool like just of the city or like later in the movie a desert. Things can just always just be a beautiful painting, and Roger Deakins just genius at it. As far as the actors, it's kind of cool that like a lot of them got to like lean into what they're good at, right? Ryan Gosling has always been a subdued kind of like little emotion character
Brooding.
in this movie, and he really gets to play
Yeah.
this role really well because he is a replicant,
Mhm.
and that's what they
Spoilers.
do. They don't show emotion, or if they do, then they're killed for it, right? And Harrison Ford, I don't know, he's never changed his old grumpy man persona for like the last 10 years. He's always just been playing that, and he really gets to like lean into being like a crotchety old man. And not to speak ill of Jared Leto, but the fact that he gets to play like a self-obsessed like egomaniac just kind of plays really well into like the movie and like the character itself.
It's
So
Too well.
It's so embarrassing.
too well.
It's so embarrassing. I totally forgot Jared Leto's name in like our last podcast or the podcast before that. Yeah, I don't know why I couldn't think of it, but yeah, I mean, yeah, he does have some good roles. Like I say, I liked him in Dallas Buyers Club. I think he's awesome in that. He is a weirdo. No denying that. He's like a Tom Cruise type actor. I got to admit, I kind of like Tom Cruise too. He's some of my favorite movies, but boy, what a weirdo. No offense, but a little bit.
Oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, that's some of the thoughts. I think just for Alyssa's sake, I thought of like some background things that I thought would be like a little bit interesting, a little context wise for the movie.
Sure.
So the original movie, Blade Runner, the one that was made in 1984, is based on the book "Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep" by Philip K. Dick.
I've read a lot of Dick. I mean, I don't mean that as a joke. I do. I really have.
But yeah, so basically, this world takes place post World War III, where people were shooting nukes at each other and laying dirty bombs in cities, and you can see that really reflected in their environment in Los Angeles, where there's constant rain when there shouldn't be. There's even snow happening in Los Angeles, and towards the end of the movie, they're by this giant ocean wall. Hinting that the sea level has rose to a level to a height in which they actually need something big to like keep it out of the city.
Couldn't really like pinpoint where they were supposed to be. I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus,
I didn't
Los
even
Angeles.
realize that. Yeah, it was snowing, and I didn't even think
right?
about that.
Yeah. Nuclear winter, and Vegas too. We visit too with the dirty bomb there.
But yeah, so in the future, there are things called replicants. They were made by the original company in the original movie, the Tyrell Company. They were basically slave labor in order to do some of the more dangerous jobs off-world. So in the movie, they are colonizing other planets, and to mine certain resources, you have to go in super toxic areas to get those things. So the replicants were made as like a slave labor class. Pretty much exactly human, apart from their short lifespans, and of course the lack of emotion, right? In the first movie, you follow a character called Richard Deckard. He is a bounty hunter. They're called Blade Runners, like the movie is called. And some of the replicants go rogue, and his job is to retire them, which is the term they use because technically to kill somebody in that world they would have to have a soul, and
Right.
a lot of humans in that universe do not consider them to have a soul. Fast forward throughout the movie, he falls in love with a replicant named Rachel, which you'll learn later when we talk about the next movie. And they go on the run together. Towards the end of the movie, Deckard is confronted by one of the leader of the replicants he's hunting. I believe his name is Roy. And you get one of the most iconic, probably monologues
Yep.
in all of sci-fi history, talking about how like all of his experiences will fade like tears in the rain. It's a very like profound scene. And then it's that point that Deckard realizes that the replicants have souls, or they're like people, right? And that's the end of that movie, basically.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, like Tears in Rain, very very iconic. There was a lot of cool. I'm trying to think of. Oh yeah, for later, there's some cool references where, Decker's was kind of being kind of ordered around, almost like Kay's Madam or Joe. Who what are we going with?
I'd put K.
Okay. Yeah. But like, he kind of had a handler himself, Decker, and he was that old man that Kay visited in the kind of like in an old folks' home, and he was. He looked like Colonel Sanders,
Richard
and he was
James almost?
and he was
Forgot his name
making
was.
little. Throughout the first one, there was a lot of a calling card. He always made origami, and so you'd always know when he was around when he had origami around. And then in the sequel, he had a little origami thing, which I guess you could also kind of, I don't know. I feel like there was some themes that kind of bridged over, because the origami is kind of like the wooden, in some ways, kind of like the wooden carvings.
You wanted the meaning behind the origami.
Yeah, I'm not saying like they're 1-to-1 like comparison, but they were kind of on theme with that, because I know that I guess it was Decker eventually. Maybe he kind of picked that up. Like he saw origami, he's like, I'm going to start carving things. I don't know. I think he was the one carving those in the sequel.
Do you want to know the meaning behind the origami from that
Go
character,
ahead.
or try just? So every time the origami, it's an animal, right? His handler like folds an animal, and it's supposed to represent different things in Deckard's, like how he's experiencing things. At first, like one of them was a sheep, because Deckard just took orders, like he's like some cattle to be told what to do. And at the end of the movie, it's a unicorn, because he is something unique now, and so is Rachel.
Interesting.
So it's like supposed to represent like their certain themes in Deckard's. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm glad I brought it up.
So we start at the beginning of the movie, Act 1. There's like a line of text that kind of basically mirrors the first movie, where they kind of describe what's happening, what are replicants, what are Blade Runners. And one interesting thing about it is that the term replicant and the term Blade Runner are both highlighted red.
Okay.
And they're both like top left of the screen. That'll be important later, and I'll tell you about that
Okay.
down the line.
Getting some
Because
deep lore.
eyes are a very big theme in Blade Runner 2049. So I found out anyway. So we start at the farm, right? Agent K is on his way to go get Mr. Batista from his farm.
Sapper.
Yeah, Sapper. And you kind of get like a feel of what the world has become, because there's a lot of solar farms, and there's a lot of like greenhouse plants like all over the place. One of the cool things is that like that barren scape of like greenhouse farms is actually a real place in Spain.
Okay.
What?
It's like the Al Ejo region. The cool thing about it, though, is that it does produce the majority of Europe's produce, especially one produce that's out of season, like tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, and melons. But the funny thing about that is that they get a lot of migratory workers to work those fields. And so people aren't really treated the best, right? They described it as using pesticides in unsafe work conditions, and the workers themselves have described it as slave labor.
Oh, shit.
Wow. But are they replicants? That's my question.
So I like that Denis like, oh, like the slave labor thing, replicants, them, yeah.
That's interesting.
It all makes sense.
I've had the opportunity to drive through, or kind of at least ride through Spain a few times, and there are some unique farming techniques I've seen. Like there are fields, and there's some that have kind of just like, I don't know, there's like small buildings a lot. I might have even, maybe it was the same place I was that you're talking about. There was like small buildings that seemed to kind of just grow like just enough. There's like, they were small enough and they just grew like a little it's like small plants, but they were like kind of enclosed. Kind of interesting. So yeah, that's cool. I believe in the movie, at least on the opening crawl, it did say that Jared Leto, was it Wallace?
Yeah, Nathaniel.
Yeah.
Wallace.
He that's how he got his initial start with his company, was to produce the protein, like the worms, right? Like he revolutionized getting like farming like worms and protein, right? And then that's, I think, and then he got enough money to buy the Tyrell Corporation. And you're right. So then he started trying to get him pregnant.
Oh God, trying to make babies.
Yeah. And is he blind? Right? Is that what it? I guess yeah.
Yeah, I'll explain it.
Well,
when
yeah,
we get to there.
Okay.
So yeah, Kay gets into Batista's home. He's trying to find some escape replicants. We figure that what's it called? Sapper, Batista's character, was one of the medical units. That's why he has like a medical bag on his side.
On the war on Callisto, I believe.
Yeah. Something like that. And anyway, talks break down and they get into like a huge fight. Busting down walls and all that. And either way, Kay like overpowers him and starts like punching him in the throat, which I thought was like one of the most brutal fights. Like just keeps like hitting him in the throat repeatedly.
Yeah.
Until like he couldn't breathe.
I take that over getting punched in the back of the neck and paralyzing me.
Oh yeah. I mean, they can take it, right? They're in the right.
Well, right, yeah, right. But that was cool. Like, I mean, you'll find out later that it was more or less on purpose that Sapper let Kay kill him. But yeah, it's he did. What he say? He has a cool line. He keeps coming back. He says, "You haven't witnessed a miracle, right? Like you hunt us down because you've never seen a miracle," and that definitely is poignant later on.
Right. So back to the what was the thing? Oh yeah, back to the eye thing. Kay has to like scan his eye, right? And he tells him to look up into the left.
Yeah.
And if you remember from the text scroll, like the word replicant is up into the left. Basically, like a little reference to like like the audience gets to experience what a replicant feels because they have to like look up into the left.
When you read replicant, you're proving that you're human. Or maybe you're not human. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and then like Aqua said, what's it called? Sapper mentions like you kill your own kind because you haven't seen a miracle. And to me, like meaning wise, I think that's less of like an event and just more of like a belief.
Right.
It's like you hunt us because you have nothing to like fight for. You're just following orders. But I do like that line. It's honestly, like, although it's a very short performance, it's one of my favorite like Dave Bautista moments in all of cinema.
He did play that really well. I mean, I guess it's hard not to. I mean, I guess he's like playing a soldier, so retired one at that. But yeah, he definitely had a job to do. When you find out later, and he like both the actor and the character, they did their job really well.
So we find Kay finds a flower by the tree, right? He doesn't know what it means yet, and then he goes back home, I believe.
Yeah, he doesn't.
And that's
he goes back later to find something else, but yeah, he finds the flower and and that's when he orders the deep scan, I believe.
That's later.
Is it? Okay. I should know this since I watched it twice. Maybe it was when he went back later. But okay, go ahead.
But what's it called? And then that's where we meet Joy, the beautiful Ana de Armas.
Yeah, Ana de Armas. I mean, we could go on. I almost want to not talk about
Amara.
Ana de Amara. I almost want to avoid the subject because me and Legion could probably go on for hours about Her.
Yeah, when we did the 21 questions, she was my celebrity
Yeah,
crush.
I mean, yeah.
Yep.
Man. But yeah, you kind of get like a look and what it's like to live in this world, and that people are lonely, right? And the world's kind of like in a state of like ending slowly, so people turn to AI to seek comfort.
Yeah, it's something I just thought
Oh, yeah,
about.
go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna mention something, but I'll mention later.
Okay, well, yeah, I just want to say, like, in the first one, it was interesting because I didn't really realize this, and I don't know how much it was really, like, mentioned or, like, alluded to in the sequel, but, like, there was a point in the first one where there's some guy just living alone in this huge building. It's because most people are going off-world to the off-world colonies. And so it was making me think, it honestly, in the sequel, it seemed like things were getting actually a little overpopulated. In a lot of ways.
Right.
So I don't really know exactly what the connection there was, unless it maybe the wars. I don't know if the first one was kind of like before some big wars happened, or like obviously the climate collapsed, I think, not long after the first movie. So maybe that's what it was, people like moving into the cities. But yeah, I mean, I thought that was interesting. And oh yeah, it was just like the AI thing. Like it kind of, you're seeing this more and more. I think I mentioned it during when we were watching, was the like, you see some of this AI like relationships happening nowadays, and like with the chat bots and stuff. And
Hey, if it looked like that, I'm down.
yeah, no, right. That's what I'm saying. And I will say that I think the movie did a good job of almost kind of making it more a positive than most people like think of it as, like, oh, it's gonna, it destroys your psyche, or like it's not good for you or whatever. And I think that's mostly correct, but I think there are ways that like it could be beneficial. Yeah, especially if it's something like we saw in the movie. Like I could see that definitely being helpful in people's kind of psychosis or psyche, helps their psyche.
Yeah.
Would have definitely helped during the pandemic. That's
yeah,
for
for sure.
For sure.
And yeah, I mean, we'll probably get more into the into what all it entails and how that works in that universe. But yeah, for now, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, when you first meet Joy, she feels very much like a product, right? Like she's in her 1950s outfit. She's like spouting facts about the 1950s, like an Alexa, like oh, tell me facts about 1950s, and she's like, did you know this and this and this and this? And there's like a subtle like upselling they do, because she also mentions, oh, I'm getting cabin fever, I just want to get out, right? Kind of like a subtle like, oh, buy this product because I get to go mobile if you do, right? Spend more money so I can leave. So when you first meet her, she's very much like a product that's being pushed on people to even like to spend more money than they already have. But I like that little detail of her also just like trying to get him to like kind of neg him to like buy like another product of the Wallace company.
I feel like I didn't notice that until the third watch. I was like, oh yeah, she's got cabin fever, and then all of a sudden he has the thing to take her outside.
You're like, you're a hologram, girl. Chill out.
Right? No, she's more than that.
I know. I wish she was more than that.
What did Mackenzie Davis say? I've been inside you. There's not as much there as you
Yeah. Damn.
That's my pickup line, or that's my kick you out of bed line.
I thought like a really fun thing is that when he does pull out his mobile device, right, to actually transfer to have her on the go, right, there's like a little transfer noise, and then there's a little composition of Peter and the Wolf playing, and that's cool because that's a play / musical about a story of a hunter who has to change his ways in order to survive.
Oh shit!
I thought that was like,
is that the
Kay's
jingle?
a hunter.
That's the jingle that plays.
Yeah, it's Peter and the Wolf.
Okay,
And
wow.
Kay's a hunter, so he has to make choices to survive.
Such an obscure.
That's
Like,
comfort
that's
zone.
good to know, because I would hear that jingle and it's like, oh, that's interesting. But now that I know what that is,
I love
Peter and the Wolf.
cool. All right, love it.
And then we fast forward to the police station. You can tell there's definitely like hate towards replicants.
Right.
Like his fellow officers call him a skinhead which is Skinner.
Skinner,
excuse me.
yeah.
Which is
skinhead's also an insult for sure.
That's something else. What's it called? So there's definitely there's still
skin
like
job.
very yeah, Skinner. It's definitely a slur, and then they use it against replicants because they're not really trusting of robots because there was a rebellion. I'll get to that later, but yeah, they're very like cautious of them because they guess they've been betrayed once before and they don't trust them anymore.
Do we have to censor
But,
ourselves? We use the hard R there.
Yeah. Skinner with a hard K. But then we go to the coroner's office. Oh wait, I think we do dig up the bones. You're right, Aqua.
Oh, great.
We do dig up the bones.
Yeah, they dig up the bones then, and then later.
That's where we meet our boy David Dalchermain.
Yeah, dude. Our second appearance.
Of Late Night with the Devil fame.
We might have to get him on the show.
He gets mentioned at least like once or twice. Yeah, he owes us that much.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah. What's it called? So yeah, we get that replicants are very similar to humans in almost every way. The only way you could tell them apart was that there were serial codes on the bones of the body dug up. So that's how you know that they were like company made by somebody.
Right, they've got tells. There's tells on them, and I don't know exactly. Like they kept zooming in. Oh yeah, that's something else I was going to mention real quick. When we were kind of talking when we were later in the movie, but also kind of here, they do a lot of like voice activation of like zoom in, enhance, zoom in, and that's definitely a thing they did in the first movie. There's this really extended scene of Harrison Ford looking at like a photograph and like enhancing it, and he just keeps going. He just keeps saying like 34, 36, enhance, now 42, 43, enhance, and it just keeps going. And they definitely they definitely kept that going for the sequel. It was definitely kind of an homage when in a few different scenes where they voice activate like everything. And it's like, I don't know, maybe I guess it's I don't know, is it Tyrell Corp really like the voice activation thing?
I feel like with a couple like buttons and knobs I could have
right
that shit.
That's what we were saying. We could have been done like in 3 seconds.
There we go.
Yeah.
There's the serial code.
Yeah.
Dim the lights. More. A little more.
That's exactly it.
Dim. 10% dim. 5%.
3.5%. Energy armors, please.
Boil water. 10 degrees.
Yeah, right.
5 more degrees.
Oh yeah.
3 degrees less.
Speaking of that too, there was also in the first one they boiled eggs and there's like a really cool egg boiler, and then one of the replicants reaches in. It's kind of a funny scene. But yeah, I guess I'm trying to think of where else. I guess continue on because I just wanted to mention that that little homage to the first movie.
What's it called? Oh yeah, we get a small scene with the lieutenant and Kay, and they mention like what it means to actually kill a human, and Kay mentions like they would have to have a soul for me to consider them to be alive. I thought that was like it's an interesting like conversation to have about like replicants and like how they are perceived by people and if they really truly have a soul. And then I believe Lieutenant says like, "Oh, you're doing fine just without one."
Well, right, yeah.
Which is a subtle dig in my opinion, but also like a compliment because she doesn't really have to tell him that he's doing fine, right? Based on how his other coworkers treat him. Like it's actually a nice compliment as well.
I'm just realizing it's Robin Wright, who I actually really love. She's in some of my other. I like every actor in this movie. That's maybe I think that's just it. But I didn't know it's just Lieutenant Joshi. I just call her Madam.
Yeah, Joshi, yeah.
Because I don't think was she ever named in the movie. I don't maybe like on a nameplate or something.
They say like once or twice.
Maybe okay. But I love Robin Wright. She's in.
I like that they call her Madam. I think that's cool.
Yeah. You're Madam. I guess I don't know if that's a technical term for like the replicants kind of handler. I don't know. Do you have a sir if it's a dude or something? Sire.
Sire.
But yeah. Robin Wright, she's good. She's in the Congress, and I don't know. I love that movie. But she's in a few other things, but I can't remember them right off. Oh yeah, and that's what I was gonna say earlier. Tracking back a little bit is that with the serial numbers. Like they really zoomed in a lot on those bones. It seemed to go like so far in, and they finally found like a serial number. Like I guess
for no reason. Like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Like
why was it like
extended,
randomly?
a 3-minute scene?
Yeah,
because they just wanted this.
Yeah, why was it like maybe it is honestly maybe it is randomly like in their bones. I don't know how that would happen like when they're made like right before they like start. Like I don't know, do they grow the flesh onto the bones directly? Like it starts out as a skeleton that they engrave things into, and then the flesh like starts growing over it.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. Let's just say yes.
Actually, since we're mentioning Robin Wright, yeah, you want to know a fun fact?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So you know the flower that Kay finds by the tree,
Yeah.
the yellow flower. It's called a buttercup.
Oh.
And Robin Wright was in Princess Bride, and her name was Buttercup.
Was that intentional?
I thought that was so fucking cool.
No, that's awesome.
When I was reading about that.
Dude,
That is cool.
This is making me love the movie so much more.
Yeah.
What's it called? So where do we leave off? So now we're in Act 2, right? Because Kay needs to find like some of the digital records of where those bones came from.
Mm-hmm.
One of the cool things about this movie is that Denis Villeneuve said that like color is actually meant to represent something that's happening because the movie is so much gray and like blue and like really like toned down colors that when there is a bright color it means something. So whenever you see the color yellow, at least this is the theory anyway, he's never really explicitly said what the colors mean. Whenever you see the color yellow, it means that the story is progressing, that Kay's heading in the right direction, which is like the flower. And of course, when we go into the records room, like the kiosk is all yellow.
Oh my
like,
God.
indicating that he's like going in the right path.
Oh,
It's like it's the yellow brick road theory.
Oh.
That's what people call it.
interesting.
Okay.
Well, yeah, that's cool color theory. I was it. Are you when you say the are you talking about the front desk at the records
Yeah,
building?
the archive.
I remember you
the guy
mentioned
that, that's like
Yeah.
super trapped in.
You mentioned how
'cause,
like
there's like a
crazy
tiny
that
window.
is.
Yeah, it's like duck his head like underneath just so he can
And
see Kay.
is what the file clerk Tomas Lenacorques? Wait, Lemarques. He's the bald guy.
Lemarques.
I still don't know. He's not a replicant, right? Because he.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
He
nah,
mentioned
I don't
he
think
was
so.
in there.
Because he mentions baby pictures.
Yeah, well, yeah,
that's
he
why.
mentions the baby pictures being with his folks when the blackout happened, which I'm still a little in the dark, literally.
I'll tell you about
Ironically, okay. Okay, that's cool. But yeah, that was a hilarious like front desk to have.
Dude, like, it's so, like, impractical. And it seems like it'll strain your neck because you have to, like, see the person, right? Or at least you want to be polite, right? And kind of look at them
Yeah, like,
before
hey.
you talk to them.
Hey,
and there's,
how
like,
can I
such
help
a
you,
like,
sir?
small window. It's kind of like oh, like, the future designs are always really
Oh,
funny
yeah.
when they're,
It's a
like, very
brutalist.
like,
There's a lot of brutalist.
unpractical.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Kay like looks for records, and the archivist mentions that like most of that stuff is lost because of the blackout. And there were short films before this movie that were like supposed to bridge the gap between the original Blade Runner and this Blade Runner. Kind of helps you explain like the timeline and like what goes into it. With the first one being called Blackout, and like the last one I think being about Wallace getting replicants approved so he can make them again. So the blackout happened like a little bit after the events of the first movie, when replicants were going rogue and they were being hunted down in masses. But they were all like recorded and they're all like in their records, right? So they would be identified immediately. So in an attempt to clear out all the records, they set off a nuke over Los Angeles that completely EMP bombed everything.
Okay.
Like cars started crashing down and everything was like wiped out completely. So it was a way for them to stop being hunted like on the regular.
I guess
was
that
them
makes
like
sense.
clearing out the slate.
I kind of figured as much. I mean, obviously there's like when you say World War III, like I don't know if it was different nations going after each other, if it was like
not sure.
kind of like a replicant kind of rebellion, which I think makes more sense. Like kind of maybe a combination of some sort. Like I really think the replicants cause more craziness than even people know, even in that universe. Maybe I don't know, because I remember in the first movie they they like hijacked like a spaceship, and that's how they got back to Earth. Like they were in some other colony somewhere, and that like 4 of them came back to Earth, and they were causing havoc. And I could almost imagine that being just something that just kept happening, basically, like every year. And
I don't blame them.
Yeah,
working
no,
as
I know.
A slave and working the dangerous
That's
jobs
the thing.
is like a wild
It's
thing, and on a short lifespan too.
Right, yeah, it was 4 years back then. In the sequel, they have extended lifespans, and some have
the V8, which
Yeah.
is Batista's model, actually naturally ages. That's why he's old.
Yeah.
When Kate meets him.
Which is funny because there was a character in the first one who had a disease that made him age really fast, but he was human.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Well, that's part of like the mutations that people got from like bombs that are being set off all around the world. Is that people develop things like that?
I mean, I know. Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I know that the first movie took place in like 2019, the far future of 2019, and and like but I don't think the actual climate collapse happened until the mid 2020s. So right about now, everybody, hello. But yeah, they definitely had.
Good luck, Alyssa. It's gonna start raining.
Yeah, get inside. Or maybe it's snowing.
And snowing.
Oh yeah, right. Exactly.
God.
But anyway, I guess, the mid 2020s and all that. I don't know. I guess I forgot where I was going with that, but it's a crazy far flung future of 2025, and then I guess 2049. I guess that really is the future. We'll have to do another podcast that year.
And that. Yeah, I'm 2049. Oh man, I don't even know. What's it? Where will I be in 2049?
I'll be almost retired.
We'll be living in our compound, doing our podcast in person.
Yeah, I think we'll definitely have that. Definitely don't want to be living in San Diego.
Right.
Yeah. So the records that Kay is looking for are like complete, like they're damaged, which is funny because then why would you keep those records?
Yeah, I didn't
stored away.
I was a little confused
if they're like too damaged to even look at.
Because our file clerk boy, he picks up like that little data thing. He's like, there's not much on it. All right, see you later.
I like to think that's like the equivalent of like picking up a CD and being like, I don't like that song.
Yeah, it's a little scratched.
Just like looking directly into like the files, like I don't like the lyrics for that.
Don't need it.
But then it got like flagged in the system, and that's when I really loved
Love.
I
You
mean,
loved Love?
Yeah, love. Yeah.
You
And
loved
Sylvia Hoeks. Yeah, I really like her. But yeah, I think it gets flagged in her system, and then she comes up and our file clerk is like immediately like, oh, okay, yes, ma'am.
I like what he does too. He completely like puts his head down and like hands her the disc, and then he like puts his hand behind his back and starts walking away.
He seems like such a jolly, charming fellow, and then all of a sudden he's just like, yep, yes, ma'am, and then he just like runs away.
It's a good hint to like what love is really like. You know, when she's not dealing business with other companies, like who she truly is.
Later, was that him painting? I don't think it was. That she later has a gimp like painting her fingernails, which is really hot.
She does. So yeah, they're walking down the hallway to like get a little bit more records about Rachel, which we don't know who it is yet. And she knows from, I guess, I don't know, walking through security, she knows that Kay is holding on to the Joy product because that's a product they make, is the AI girlfriends. And that's when she like asks like, are you enjoying our product? And I was like,
that's my wife.
She has a name. I mean, everyone else has that name too, but
yeah, why didn't he give her like another name? And I like how
Couldn't
Joy
think of anything.
Joy names the other one robot names the robot Joy names the other like robot Joe. It's like, okay,
Joe.
So creative.
Thinking outside of the box.
Yeah.
Actually, do you want to know? Actually, I'll just tell you. Yeah. So the male equivalent of Joy is just called Boy. You see advertisements around. It's just called Boy.
That. What the
Damn.
And it's actually spelled correctly though. It's like just I thought it was gonna like
Boy.
B-O-I, but it's just B-O-Y.
That's the other. That's the other product.
That's actually the Ryan Gosling version.
Marketed directly toward Alyssa.
Yeah. And I will pay every penny that they ask to have it.
For Boy.
For Boy.
Get your own little Ryan Gosling.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, we get a little bit of kind of like a reference to the first movie, because we get Deckard's I forgot what it was called. It's called the trying to figure out what the test is called to see if they're replicants or not. I kept calling it the Turing test, but that's not what it's called.
It left my mind too. I heard it like 30 times in the first movie too.
Right? It's called like the Venn something test.
Yeah.
No, that's not it. Where is it? Either way, we get like a little bit of scenes from the first movie, and when they're talking about like turtles and being flipped over and things like that. It's supposed to like elicit a emotional response, like something that a human would have, and that's when you could tell like if a replicant was getting human emotions and then why they had to be put down. Well, spoilers for the first movie. The reason why Rachel passes that test with ease is because she's implemented with childhood memories. And because in that movie, replicants only lived for 4 years, having childhood memories prevented them from developing real emotions. So that's why she's able to pass that test with ease, because she has those memories, and it's a little easier for her to form context around situations rather than the other replicants.
First of all, I think one of the names is Voight or something. Anybody listening is going to be so mad.
Right.
But I will say in the first one, Rachel, it takes a long time, but Deckard does eventually figure out that she's a replicant. You know what I mean?
Void comp test.
Void comp. Yep.
There at the Control F for that.
Yeah. Oh, good. Oh, I'm glad I at least gave you the clue. But yeah, he does. It takes him a long time, like 100 questions or something, but he does eventually figure out that she's a replicant. And I will say, in the first movie, one of the first scenes is some other guy giving one of the replicants a test, and he says it's a test to provoke an emotional response, which is sampled. And he also says, "Can you tell me what's your happiest memory of your mother?" And he says, "Let me tell you about my mother," and shoots him. And both of those are those are both sampled in the extended ultra-violence mix of Love Rocket F-111. And I used to listen to that a lot, and I think eventually I did Google like, what is this sampling, and it was Blade Runner. I was like, oh yeah, and then I forgot about it until I started watching the first one again, and then when those lines came up, I was like, holy shit, this is Love Missile F-111. So that was fun. by Seek Seek Sputnik, if you didn't know who it was by. Old 80s song. I stopped the movie and like listened to the extended version of that song. It was so funny.
Oh, that's cool.
Put my own soundtrack to
Hell
this.
yeah.
So I think it's that point that's where we get a little bit of a connection with the first movie, because Kay goes on to try to talk to Gaff, right? Who's in the retirement home, I believe.
Yeah.
And then he kind of mentions the kind of some of what the first movie was, that Deckard he had a change in his eyes.
Right. Well, and
more eye contact.
That's what I was gonna say. Right before that, like when he was in the records office, they did when Love took him back into that room that hasn't been there for like 100 or nobody's been there for ages, but like the lights still work for whatever reason.
Yes.
And it's all perfectly working except for the door. But she puts in some memory core or whatever into a machine, and you can hear the original conversation that Decker and Rachel had.
Yeah, the void comp.
Yeah, well, yeah, we'll hear her void comp, and yeah, it's like the real audio and all that. And yeah, like I say, it took him a while, and because that was Tyrell who said like, why don't you do Rachel? Try that. And then after
don't mind if I do.
Yeah, exactly. That's what he said. And then after that, after he gave her like 100 questions, he like, she's a replicant, isn't she? I don't know. It was a good callback to the first one.
So yeah, the change in the eyes. There's also like a subtle hint. The ongoing theory about the first Blade Runner is that Deckard is a replicant too. Harrison Ford's character is also a replicant, but
I mean, he ages.
I say fuck that theory.
Yeah. But then again, I do wonder how he survives in Las Vegas. But
Same way the dog does.
Well, but the dog might not be real. He doesn't even Decker doesn't know if he's real or not.
Same way the bees then.
Yeah, fake bees.
But yeah, that's like the ongoing theory. It's been like debated for like decades
Right.
now if Deckard's like actually a replicant. So as far as I know, Ridley Scott says yes, Harrison Ford says no, and Denis Villeneuve says no. So I'm saying 2-1.
That's an interesting one.
Deckard's not a replicant. I don't know. I just don't subscribe to that theory. Anyway, we meet Jared. Is it Jared Leto or Leto? Because when I was watching some interviews, some people said his last name differently. Is it Leto or Leto?
There's a YouTube channel for this. God damn it. I don't know if you'd be on it. There's literally a YouTube channel called Celebrities Pronouncing Their Own Names.
Oh shoot, I'll need to look that up
Yeah.
later. So like when Aqua's talking about is he blind? Yes, technically. He actually uses drones to see things. So whenever you see those little floating
Right.
robots, that's how he sees the
For
world.
whatever.
Those gray contacts are like cameras, basically,
Okay.
like a way to see things. So that's how. So technically, he is blind, but he's seeing the world through technology, which I guess is a good like indication of how he views everybody. It's just a very like cold and unfeeling way, because that's how that's how he sees people is through cameras and through watching people, right?
Ew.
I don't think Jared Leto's on that
here's
channel.
a-
Dang it.
Here's a fun fact for Alyssa. So the role of Wallace, Neander Wallace, was originally thought up for David Bowie, because of his his eye colors being gray. It was gonna be played into the movie. But, sadly, Bowie had gone sick in 2015 and passed away in 2016, which is when the movie was being filmed. But I thought that was really cool that he thought of him as the role of Wallace. He would have been great.
Oh my
Would've
God.
loved it.
That would have been baller. Yeah, his eyes were 2 different colors.
Damn, that would have been so cool.
Yeah. That is cool.
Yeah. So we get the sense of of how Wallace sees himself, right? He sees himself as a god, right? That he creates all this life, that we should be ruling the stars, things like that. That all of the replicants are his children, and then thus he can treat them however he wants. We kind of get a little bit of that from Love as well, because she kind of worships Wallace, wants his approval all the time. It's why when Kay mentions oh, he gave you a name, you must be special, right? It kind of hurts her a little bit.
She had a look in her eye.
Because Wallace probably had a lot of assistants before her, and probably will after she's gone.
No, that's interesting because what was I gonna say? Yeah, it's almost like in some ways I get where he's coming from. I mean, if you were in the position he was, he just wants to be able to. I guess he wants to control it, which is bad, but he does. He wants to make it humanity able to populate the universe, which in some ways I get. If you're in that position, you have the ability to possibly make that happen. I could see where you might want to do it, I guess. And I don't think the replicants actually disagree a lot. They just don't want to be controlled by that one man. But they don't. I think they later we kind of learned that the other kind of rebel replicants, they have the same idea. They really, they're like, oh yeah, we want to take over the universe for sure, but we just don't want to be led by Jared Leto or Leto, whatever the hell.
Leto or Leto.
I don't blame him for that.
They
one.
want to be Leto.
Jared
Yeah.
Lego.
Jared Wallace do what he do best. He stabs the replicant after being this whole monologue about how they can't give birth, and that's the only thing that's holding them back. That if he could figure out how Tyrell was able to breathe life into them, then he could control the stars.
Yeah.
He stabs the naked replicant in front of him, slices up her stomach, and then gives her a kiss.
Yeah.
So fucked up.
I was a little confused by that. I get it now, but I don't know if did he already know that she wouldn't be able to give birth? I don't know if at first she was just another try at a one that could give birth, but once he looked at it with his weird robot eyes. He realized, nope, still not it. And he's just like, whatever.
What a dick.
Probably
Right.
put her in the recycler.
Put her in the garbage disposal.
Oh no, we got to get someone in here. Where's that bald guy?
I have it on camera. Don't worry.
Everything.
One of the cool things about that scene is that, like, because he sees the world through multiple cameras, he actually has a camera trained on Love
Right.
to see her
I
reaction.
noticed
Because I
that.
think he's just actually checking to see if she shows emotion,
Mhm.
and if he has to put her down
Yep.
later.
Yep.
He just wanted to see. Maybe that's the point of the stabbing, was he wanted to just see if, like, she actually gained emotions from, like, seeing one of her own kind just, like, get gutted.
Sure. No,
Instantly.
they're always
Maybe.
probably looking for out of baseline. You're way out of baseline.
Out of baseline.
Way off baseline. So yeah, he's
Yeah, right. That's something to call people who are, like, out of pocket as well.
yeah,
Way
way
off
off baseline.
baseline.
And yeah, no, I believe that is true because he would be obsessive enough to look for any tiny little like emotional response. And it's like, yeah, and he probably wouldn't hesitate to stab her.
All right, because those things are like superhumans, right? If they go
Yeah.
nuts, man, it's like, what are you gonna do to
Game
stop them?
over.
They're gonna
Mm-hmm.
punch your neck off or something. I don't know.
God, poor Coco.
It's- what's it called? I believe we cut to what's it called? The Replicant Rebellion. Like, now they're aware of Kay and what he's doing. And, like, this mysterious lady asked these pleasure model replicants to actually just, like, kind of spy on him and talk to him. And that's where we meet Mackenzie's character. What's her name again? I think it's Mariette.
I have it right here. Mariette. Yep, that's it.
Mariette,
Well, I
yeah.
don't know. Are they replicants? Because I think at least Mackenzie might be real, but she at least says she's real.
She's not, because, well, yeah,
Okay,
because
I guess I
she
misunderstood.
reacts to the horse because, yeah. We'll
Oh,
go
she
down the line
does.
with that,
Okay,
but
yeah, I can buy that.
and she's-
I guess I just didn't really. Yeah, that could make sense. Go ahead.
Yeah, that part confused me because, like, so there are replicant sex bots, right? 'Cause-
Yeah,
Sure.
they're just like pleasure bots. Yeah.
So can they feel, or are they just programmed to act like they can? Because remember they walked by that thing and they're like moaning and there's like steam.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the
Or-
brothel. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm
Yeah.
like, can they feel?
I mean,
I don't know.
feel what?
I think they can, because they can feel pain.
Yeah.
If that
I
makes
mean,
sense.
Okay.
replicants are. Yeah. I mean, they can. I think really. Yeah. I don't know because are they tested for baseline? Like I don't. It's.
Yeah, because
You orgasm too
Yeah,
hard.
exactly. What is this?
yeah,
Like I don't want
obviously
like an unfeeling. I don't want a
They
Ryan
don't-
Gosling bot. I want someone
Yeah.
with more emotion when I'm with them.
yeah, that confused me because I know they don't want them to emotionally feel, like they don't want them to feel sad or happy or angry.
Yeah.
But I wonder if they can physically feel, like hot, cold.
I think
pleasure.
They can.
Yeah,
I
that's a
think-
good
yeah, I think
question.
they can.
They can't. They probably have a choice because I know in the first
Right.
one they like they could. I think they can turn it off. Yeah, like someone reached into a boiling pot and they,
Because why else would they have that scene of like Kay and then the sinking of the other one where they get busy?
well, because at least
like why else would he do that?
because the replicant's at least a real physical thing.
Yeah, but he's not human though.
Oh yeah, right. Well, yeah, I think they
Yeah.
can feel. I think they can at least feel that. And I mean, yeah, and he was off baseline by then, so he was definitely feeling stuff.
So he was like, I got a boner for
He
real.
got a real boner, not a rope.
Why would you give him a wiener if you didn't want him to feel?
I got a real boner.
A rope boner. I'll take it.
Good question, Alyssa.
Oh no, that's a good question. Like, it really, like, puts into perspective, like, do they have a soul, basically, right?
Right.
That's like one of the questions that both movies try to tackle, is like, are they real people because they can feel real emotions, even though they might not have the memories to support what they're feeling? Like, are they real people?
Yes, I think so. If you can love something, then yeah, I think you do have a soul. Especially if two of those robots can love each other, I think they do have souls.
So much.
I mean, that's how
Yeah, they
When
do.
two robots like each other so much.
you Zoidberg.
Mm-hmm.
The robot.
Yeah,
I
they're
love
robots.
saying robot. Thank you for being one
Yeah,
of these
robot.
people. Me and my mom say that. It's a robot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, did you know that robot in Czech is slave.
Dude, I was about to say it's actually a Czech word. No, I actually knew that because it's
Nice.
Yeah, because I'm like half Czech, and if you read the etymology of robot, it's from like an author from like the turn of the century or something, and he basically coined the word robot for like mechanical slaves.
Wow, that's sad. Slave.
I mean,
slave
Yeah,
bot.
so every time you're saying robot, you're just calling people slaves, calling things slaves. It's a slur.
I mean,
You
yeah,
gotta
well,
respect
but
It is
the
a
word
slur.
robot.
I mean, I guess, but what's a robot? Like, I don't know. Is your computer a robot? Like, I don't know.
Something
I feel like
devoid of emotion and thinking for themselves.
I just wonder where you draw the line. Like, yeah, do you think of your
Eh,
computer as a
when they
slave?
look like Ryan Gosling and Ana de Armas, that's when I draw the line.
I mean,
Yeah,
When they look hot, basically.
when you got Robo Wiener.
When you want to sleep with them, that's when I'm like, yeah.
Yeah,
they're
when you
real.
want to like.
They have a soul.
Yeah, how could you not? I wouldn't care if he was a Robo Man. I'd be like, you got everything that works.
what is
like,
it? AI? Remember that movie? Like, there was a whole thing
yeah.
where like,
That movie was weird.
looking back, it's weird because like the little kid, which is a robot anyway, but then like, doesn't he start hanging out with like sex working robots?
Yeah.
he does.
Circus freaks and whatnot.
Was that that was Jude Law, I believe, was the sex robot.
Oh,
Yes.
right, yeah.
AI.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Maybe they should have hired him for
Yeah.
this role now.
Man, I
Denis
remember
said
that
he
movie.
tried to call Jude Law, but he didn't pick up.
I mean,
so
yeah.
just
Well,
took
he
Ryan
probably didn't want to
Gosling
be.
instead.
Yeah, he'd be like, I already played a sex bot.
I'm gonna play
I'm not
Dumbledore
doing that
now.
anymore. Oh my
I
God.
swear, I'm not doing it anymore.
So I believe like Mariette says like, oh, it's weird to find like a tree still like up because like trees are super rare, right? The forests don't exist and trees are a really rare thing. Even like wood itself is pretty rare, right? So Kay goes back to the farm to try to uncover more things. And then he finds the date 6/10/21.
Well, right.
And that elicits a memory with him from his childhood, which he believes is a false memory, but of a wooden horse he used to have with the same date carved into it.
Well, first he goes back into Sapper's place and he very satisfyingly cuts the plastic off the doorway.
Yeah, he does an unboxing of Sapper's house. I totally forgot that.
Right, and then he that's when he finds the sock, and that's where he finds the picture in front of the tree, and I think that's what makes.
Oh yeah,
him
I forgot about that because Rachel played piano
yeah,
in
piano.
the first movie.
Yeah, he did.
And then there
I
was
was
a
going to
piano
mention
in
that
Sapper's
she
house.
plays piano in the first movie, and I thought that was a reference when I was watching the first movie. I was like, oh shit, that's why he did the piano thing. And yeah,
She
so
was Piano Man.
what?
She was Piano
Oh
Man.
yeah, Billy Joel. I believe Billy
pregnant.
Joel is here, and yeah. But so yeah, he finds a sock in the picture, and then yeah, that's when he goes out, and he it's just a little uncovered or a little covered up by dirt, and so he wipes that away, and that's why I guess probably there was a team there that searched everything. They said they didn't find anything else, which I guess I don't blame them. I mean, even if they found a carving, they wouldn't know what to do with it. But yeah,
I was like, oh, I remember those days.
and that's
Oh, yes.
well, yeah, and then he walks away and burns the house down because I guess earlier, Madam was saying like, this breaks the world. You need to cover this the fuck up. You can't let
because if people figured out that replicants could reproduce, then that like puts into question what are really replicants, right?
And I guess we kind of
Another World War, World War
we
IV.
kind of downplayed the thing where Coco found the serial number. Like they were all freaking out. They were like, this is not possible. And so yeah, and then Madam's like,
Whoops.
yeah, we got to cover this the fuck up, or yeah, this breaks the world. And but yeah, and then I guess at that point, then it's kind of a battle between covering it up and also and of course Wallace Corporation wanting to know the answers and wanting the child.
Right.
So
Like,
yeah.
one wants to keep it secret, the other one wants it like uncovered.
Yeah, and yeah,
Yeah.
Tyrell,
Find
they
something,
still
yeah.
probably want it, or not Tyrell, but Wallace still wants to discover it, but he still probably doesn't want much people to know about it. So it's kind of that struggle, I think that kind of got lost for me, at least on a couple watches where I was like, wait, who wants it? Why? You know what I mean? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
That's
But it's
true.
like it is kind of a weird balance because they both want it, but they also don't want it. It's just kind of a weird balance where They're kind of it's like covert ops. It's like a intelligence and counterintelligence type shit. But yeah, he burns the place down after he finds the carving in the tree in the ad, and he was like, oh. Yeah, he thinks
not the worms.
Yeah, and I know. I'm really depressed about the garlic worms. I really wanted
the protein farm, dude.
I would have taken over that farm and been like, all right, let's go. I'll keep this a secret.
I certainly wouldn't have burned it down either.
Well,
it's so ridiculous.
I know. And I mean, it didn't really help because like that was right when I think Love was stealing the bones.
Yeah,
and Coco died.
Killing our boy David with a karate chop.
I mean,
judo chop to the back of the
neck. It
neck.
was pretty badass. I will give Love that.
It looks so like nonchalant,
Yeah.
but since they're robots, it probably felt like a sledgehammer hitting the back of his neck.
It was a well done scene because all of a sudden he's like on the ground, bleeding in his eyes and coughing up blood, can't move, and then the next thing you hear is Love's dead, or God damn it, I keep saying that, Coco's dead, and then that's when they have to like start cleaning it up, and that's and then that's when Kay's like, I did it, I found the kid. I think he says this to his madam. He's like, I found the kid, because he thinks it's him. I mean, I guess we can keep going, but like, yeah, I think at that point he's like, I think he's thinking that it's him because he had the memory, and he's like, that's me as a little boy. I hid the thing. It was me who was born. I really do have these memories. Because
I thought so.
Yeah, it tricked you. I mean, at the end they kind of hang a lampshade on it. They're like, you thought it was you, didn't you?
Yeah, because he seemed more human than anyone.
Did he? No, I get it.
Yeah.
Emotionless Ryan Gosling.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? There's a subtle hint that it's not him in that same scene.
I mean, I'm sure there is, but yeah, what is it though?
What's it called? Like the slave orphanage that he's a part of. If you like notice closely, all the boys have shaved heads, and all the girls get to keep the longer hair. So there's no way he could have been the kid.
I sort of got that, but yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, okay, yeah. Very subtle.
That was like nice, like the super subtle, just like of changing of hairstyles. That's where we meet the orphanage guy, though, right?
We have to fly out there first. We get attacked.
Oh yeah. We do get attacked. Actually, like one of like the cooler scenes. I don't know, like the way they so Kay's flying in his flying Tesla above the clouds, and he's obviously going into territory that's out of city limits, and thus the rabble or the forgotten people are just out there trying to survive, and they see his car coming. But I thought the cool thing was that the way they brought it down was they didn't try to they did try to shoot at it, but it doesn't work. But they shot a harpoon in it that like was attached to like a kite that flew up into the atmosphere, and they got struck by lightning. I was like, oh, that's so sick. That's like such a sick way to like do.
Yeah.
And
to bring the whole thing down.
Right. Yeah. It like shut out its power, and then Kay was able to. I think there's an emergency thing where at least leveled it out, so you didn't crash straight into the ground, and you're able to at least keep upright, and then your forward momentum keeps going. But it really fucks up a lot of things, and Joy gets pretty damaged. I thought that was a pretty funny scene when she's like glitching out the whole time in the car.
Yeah.
It's honestly kind of sad, too.
Yeah, no, it was.
She really wants to help him out, but she can't really do anything. She's a hologram.
Right.
I know.
And and this is when then the scrappers, I guess we could call them, not to be confused with sapper, come and they start trying to kind of kill him, or at least capture him, and he does a good number on him. But this is when Love comes in with like orbital strikes. Like I think Kay was playing Call of Duty, and he finally got enough or whatever.
He got his drone strike.
Yeah,
basically.
you got your orbital strikes.
He killed
going.
enough. Little scrap. He killed scrapper. He killed enough scrappers to actually get his his perk.
Yeah, he got his perk point. But yeah, then this is where she, and this is another section where she's like we were wondering like how inefficient is that, right? Like she's calling out coordinates or whatever.
Yeah.
And
it's the same scene where she's getting her nails painted, right?
By whoever that is, the gimp I'm calling him. But yeah, it's inefficient, but it's also kind of like I say, kind of an homage to the first one, where it's like, go to 42, 43, strike. And then she says,
Imagine she like said the wrong coordinates
Right.
and just hit K
Yeah.
right on point. Just one big missile. Boom.
yeah,
God.
no, and then she says, yeah, like get up, find that kid,
Do your fucking job.
do your
she says,
fucking
right?
job. Like, yes, ma'am. I kind of wish Anna
I
de
thought that-
Armas
I thought that was
talked
like
to me like that.
Right? I thought that was like a cool scene because like Love by Wallace, she's referred to as Angel.
Right.
I thought that was really cool. Like she was protecting him from the skies with orbital, munition, but still protecting him from the skies.
Yeah, that's a good.
And then her painting nails is kind of like more like evidence that she's just very uncaring and unfeeling.
Well, yeah,
Right.
she's definitely that. She cares about only her job, and I guess probably
She's that bitch.
She's that bitch. She's brat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought I was gonna say one more thing. I guess that was probably it. Oh yeah, the angel thing. That is cool. Like there's a few references there. We make angels. I think Wallace says a few times, and it's like we want to bring in Eden, and we want to if we can have the bosom or whatever, I forgot, the womb of humanity needs to be fertile, and we're trying to do that. I don't know, it was some creepy shit that
Like,
Leto would say anyway.
Just actual recording of Inside
That's
Here.
what we
Let Us
said.
Out.
That's what we said. We're like, I think this is just his cult. Like, I think they just put a camera
Yeah.
in his cult.
they just they just hit Audacity record button and like just let them talk.
Yeah,
And we'll just dub it over the movie.
yeah,
And
it's perfect. He wasn't even in the movie. That was just an AI creation like Rachel.
Yeah.
yeah.
They use his likeness without his
Obvi-
permission, but he can't do anything. I don't know. But yeah, we definitely reached the orphanage eventually, which that's a pretty crazy scene.
Yeah. Just like I don't know. I guess like in the actor who plays the I don't know what do you call him, the orphanage manager.
Dude, he plays a really good like unhinged guy.
Yeah.
Like in the script he said like this guy was a former school teacher,
Wow.
and that's how he kind of played the character like that. And I was like, that was kind of
That is cool.
Detail.
I mean, yeah, he seemed. I mean, I don't know if this is like he seemed like some, like just like a mentally, like he's like slightly mentally ill.
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. I mean, with the slave kids, for sure. There's like a couple of things wrong with them. I'm sure he feeds them, probably just worms, though.
He says,
right?
I let him play. I do, or something like that. He was funny.
Yeah.
It's like I understand the importance of play, but then the kid like knocks over like one thing, and like, everybody goes silent. It's like, oh yeah, I'm sure under normal circumstances, like you definitely wouldn't beat him.
Yeah. It's like, sir, you're a human trafficker. Okay,
Yeah,
you don't let
exactly.
them play or do anything.
This is Alyssa's expertise here. What
Yeah,
would you
this
do?
is my scope of practice.
What would you do if you got a call for this orphanage?
Oh,
Her
for this.
and Ryan just pounding down doors.
Oh, yeah, I would walk in, see that, and be like, I'll be right back, and then go outside and call law enforcement.
Call Ryan.
I'll call Ryan.
Okay.
Ryan, please help me.
I have to get something from my car. Police right away.
Bring Anna de Armas.
Yeah. Bring your girlfriend, but make sure you have a hotspot going, because
Right.
there's no
Make sure
Wi-Fi.
you
There's
have
no Wi-Fi.
Good 5G
You might need to use your
in the air.
5G.
Make sure
I'll
there's good
comp
5G.
you for the data, okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
So I believe after finding the horse within the furnace.
Well, yeah.
Right?
Well, they go to the records, and they realize that the pages got torn out.
Right.
From he does keep records because Kay says, you strike me as a guy who has a long memory, and if you don't remember, I might just open up a hole and find it.
Oh yeah, the Alyssa approach, the point,
That's right.
finger on the forehead.
Yep, that's
That's
also what
right.
she would do if she got the call.
And I don't
Yeah.
know. Could have been Sapper. Could have been Harrison Ford who ripped it out.
Yeah, it was a
We're
big
not
cover up. I
completely
mean, there was
sure.
a blackout. Yeah, there was the whole thing where they decided to cover up. I guess we'll get to it, but yeah, the pages got ripped out. But yeah, Kay is like looking at that furnace. He's like, like first he looks at it before going into the record, like office or whatever before he finds out the book, and then later. And then afterwards, he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna go check this out
and
to
then
see
he
if
finds
this is real."
the ashtray of the horse, right?
Oh,
he finds the ashtray
I didn't
of the horse
understand
on
what
the
the
guy's desk,
ashtray
and
was.
then it is it was a horse ashtray.
Oh, okay.
And then I think that's what triggers for him to be like, what the
Yeah,
hell?
what the hell, yeah.
Let's look anyway.
Right. Okay.
Let's look anyway for the horse.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I mean, that's got to be a crazy experience to have found it when you're like, well, my memories are false, but then you think they're real.
Yeah, they're not supposed to be
but
real.
then you think they're real, but then still you find something that apparently you did in your childhood, and like it's still there. It's crazy.
Yeah, like the theory behind like not giving replicants like real memories is that if they ever found the place that they had in their memories, then they'd have an existential crisis because technically they weren't there and it would be remembered differently.
Well, right, and that's what and then you do hear a certain little someone say that it's illegal to have real memories, to put real memories in.
That's like the reason, right? It's because like the existential crisis
yeah,
of them if they actually find the place.
It's a good reason not to.
Yeah. Can you imagine that though? Like remembering like a certain location you went to as a kid and then going there and it's completely like the wrong thing.
And then like
not just like a building being built there and it being a different a different like, type of setting, but just completely different. Like it breaks your brain to think about.
It was interesting. Oh yeah, I was gonna say in the first movie, yeah, what was it? Rachel had Tyrell's niece's memories.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting.
Those are her childhood
and
memories.
they went on about like a spider outside her window that gave birth, and then the baby spiders ate the mother, which probably had some deeper meaning. There's probably that's some psychosexual shit right there. But yeah,
I should really watch the first movie. There's like a lot of stuff I
know.
don't remember.
Definitely, yeah. If you ever have like a free afternoon, definitely watch both in sequence. It's so good.
Yeah, I do. I need to see it because I think Brandon was talking about it. He likes Blade Runner.
Yeah.
So he wanted to watch the new one. So I guess we're gonna have to watch the old one and then the new one again.
It holds up so good.
Yeah.
You got time now.
I know. Amara said she tried to watch the old one at her nana's, but she fell asleep like right away. She's like, "It's boring." I was like,
I mean,
okay.
Yeah. I almost feel like the second one is a little slower. I mean, like I remember, I didn't know if I'm glad you liked it, Alyssa. At first, I wasn't sure if you enjoyed it because it does get kind of drags in some ways.
Yeah. But you know the scene to find the horse is 4 minutes long.
Wow.
What?
For him to walk down a hallway, look at the furnaces up and down, and then open the grate and take out the horse is 4 minutes
funny.
long. I timed it.
That's
Oh my
funny.
God.
I mean,
that scene.
to be fair, I wasn't.
I know. There's like a build up. There's supposed to be build up because like, oh, is it real for him?
Right.
Like, is he actually real? But still, it's like.
I mean,
maybe 2 minute 30.
Yeah.
For that scene.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, when I watched it second time, I didn't think it dragged on that much, but like, I don't know, I could just see if you were already like bored. But I feel like the first one doesn't have as many like long, super long scenes, which is kind of interesting, except for finding that photo and like zooming in on it for a half hour.
I think it's really cool. I think it's a really cool movie.
Yeah.
You know what my favorite part is? When he's talking to like the billboard, the giant lady hologram, because she's naked, right? Mm-hmm. And so she like bends down and she's like talking to him like, "Oh, you look lonely." And I was just thinking like, so if she's naked and she's moving around, like they cut away from her, like at some point there's this massive vagina just like walking around and he's looking at it.
Out there.
That's cyberpunk, baby.
Too.
Her butthole too, yeah. She's like bending and walking. I'm like, that's just out there. Like, what?
I mean, yes.
I guess there's no kids around.
It is an ad, and I mean, we're not seeing it for obvious reasons because I don't think Anna wants to.
You have to pay Anna way more.
Yeah,
money
yeah.
For
But
sure.
to be fair, the ad could be doing clever stuff too that we're just not seeing. Like, you know what I mean? Like there could be the angles. I mean, it's a big like hologram, right? But yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I mean that's such a heartbreaking scene because after she dies, spoilers now. But yeah, like and that it is poignant. It is poignant because like he doesn't really talk to her, but I think that's what kind of inspires him to like do the final thing that he does.
Yeah.
Because
It's been memed.
yeah,
so
I mean,
much,
the
like that
look.
whole scene.
I send
Really?
that, I send
But
that gift to
it's
my
like one of
friend all
the
the
most
time.
important scenes in the movie.
I should send you.
One of the most important scenes,
Alyssa,
but it's been, like been memed 100
I'm
million
gonna send
times,
you
right?
a gift because they have like there's like funny even on Discord they have if you put in like Ryan or something they have cats doing the same thing where it has like
What?
a bandage on their nose and the cats are like looking at a pink screen and they like look down. It's really funny.
I didn't know that. That's
Yeah,
funny.
it's a very memed scene, and yeah, I mean, I guess we'll get to it later, but like, yeah, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, I'll tell you, like, it's funny, like, in the theater, that was, like, we'll get into it when we actually get to the scene, but that had, like, a really profound, like, impact in my life, that whole scene.
Dude,
Really?
my friend,
Yeah, it mattered that much to me, like,
Aw.
my friend
it
did
changed my life.
Dude, that's so
basically.
funny because my friend says the same thing. He talked about that scene and he was like, he like quotes it to me all the time. Like, that was like, I think that might be one of his favorite scenes of all time in all movies.
Were the naked ladies bending down and talking to
she
him?
says you seem like
Yeah.
a good Joe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you look lonely. You seem like a good Joe, and you know what I mean. Like that's his like. It's almost like it's like your dead wife talking to you, and like
Yeah,
you know, and
it's
like
sad.
yeah, it's yeah. I'm gonna cry now.
So Kay tracks down a memory person, someone who I guess creates memories for replicants.
Hella cool.
Her name is her name is Anna.
Which is I thought that was funny.
really cool character.
Yeah.
Right. Her name's Amara. She's a memory designer, and I think like one of the cool things about like her philosophy for creating memories is that like replicants go through such hard lives because of the jobs they're put through, that she likes to put happy memories so they have always something to lean back on whenever things get like tough in their lives. So I thought that was like a nice innocent thing.
Yeah, it's sweet.
Yeah.
And what's it called? She lives in a bubble because she has a immune deficiency, which prevents her from going outside. More on that later. And again, like one of the most meme scenes in the movie, yet one of the most like important scenes in the movie is when Kay asks her to check about one of his memories, which is the furnace and the horse, the wooden horse thing. The reason why like Ryan Gosling is so perfect for this is because he plays the whole like movie pretty straight. This is like the only like one of the few times where he actually outbursts with emotion. He checks on the memory to see if it's a real memory, so he can confirm if he is the child that everyone is looking for, the one that was born of replicant. And Anna like looks through it and says, "Yeah, that's a real memory."
Right.
And
Crying.
of course she would.
breaking down.
Yeah, she's crying. No, and of course she would know what this memory is.
But like it's not
But, it
obvious.
is-
Like
Yeah.
like Kay just thinks, oh yeah, she knows it's a real memory, and like, but yeah, he doesn't really question why she's like emotional about it.
Then we hear, God
Damn it!
Shoot! Dang!
Dang! Damn it!
You know, it's funny though. Like, I wonder what Anna's thinking in that moment.
Right.
Because to her, that's important to her. But what does she think of this Kay just being like,
But she probably knows at that
flipping
point.
his shit?
Yeah. Well, I honestly don't really know. I guess he's just upset that he now he really does think he is real. I guess.
that he's been like lied to. his whole life.
Yeah. His whole,
Yeah.
But yeah. How did he?
I'm a real boy. I
Yeah.
hate it.
Well, yeah. I think he'd be happy about it. Actually, be like, oh, I'm real cool.
Cool.
Pinocchio effect.
Yeah. But how was it that he tracked her down? I know she's a contractor.
I think he just like, he just looked up someone who creates memories.
He
for
Googled
replicants.
it.
Right. I guess so.
Yeah, he probably Googled it because then they would know how to confirm real memories, right?
Yeah.
And I guess she was the closest one.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I just but yeah, I know that she did mention that she's a subcontractor. She's like, well, it's wanted to buy me out, but I said no.
He had a map quest on one of his drivers. He found her.
Right next to the 7-Eleven, the memory maker, right there. Yeah. It's fun. It's funny. I think of that scene whenever like I get mad sometimes. Like, God damn it.
Yeah, I've never seen Legion truly mad before. Frustrated for sure.
Yeah, I think of that scene so much. Just like from the meme, but also just because it's like so important for the movie.
Yeah.
I would pay money to see you get that upset.
Ooh, we should do like a mini play about Blade Runner. And
Yeah.
then I'll be Kay for that scene.
Just take a bunch of pre-workout and then just fucking go
Take
nuts.
steroids, bro. It's cool. Testosterone.
Yeah.
I don't know how people take pre-workout. It makes you feel like so weird, man.
It makes me itchy, but if I don't work out, I'll be itchy.
It's the your foot's falling asleep.
Yes.
But throughout your whole body.
Tingles,
I
yeah.
hate that
I don't
feeling.
like that.
Well, if you want it to stop, you gotta work out. That's what gets me to do it.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
But we get like a little like, I guess like foreshadowing because Kay walks down the steps and it's snowing, right before he gets back into his car, and then drives away.
You can see that again.
Yeah.
The iconic
I don't
steps.
think it's important. I don't think it's important for this
Probably
movie. And then he immediately has to report back to the police station, and that's when we
That's
figure out
where
he's way off baseline.
baseline.
He's way off baseline. He's not
Yeah.
saying interlinked fast enough.
I know, yeah.
Cells
It doesn't
interlinked.
make
Cells
any
interlinked.
sense. That's stupid. I know it's because he's not supposed to be thinking about questions. He's just supposed to be saying interlinked.
Right.
But
Because like
it's
a human would be
annoying.
like, "What the fuck?" Right?
What do you mean?
Because
Yeah.
Especially when you say, have
They
you
have real
ever felt like you're in a cage? Have you tell me about your
Ever
mother.
hold a hand? Wasn't it like hold a hand or something?
What's it like to
you wanna
hold your
the hand of
child?
lover.
Yeah.
Interlinked.
Interlinked. Cells
Interlinked.
interlinked.
Interlinked. It cells interlinked.
iconic.
But yeah,
He's way off
like
baseline. But yeah, and Madam gives him like 48 hours to for something. I can't even.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the
And,
point of that is. Like, I mean, she likes him, but
well, it's like her like covering for him. So
Yeah.
like she actually does care about Kay. It's like because any other replicant would be like, nope, kill him right now.
Yeah.
Kill them right now. They're too dangerous.
yeah, I
And
mean,
like a lot of his coworkers would just like oblige. They'd be
Yeah.
like, yeah. Boom, 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 boom.
I mean, I don't think like being off baseline is like instant like retirement, but like yeah, like you definitely have only like a little tiny bit to salvage it or something.
Well, she mentions that like I can get you out of the station alive today, but you have to come back
Yeah.
on baseline. So I don't know if that's like
Yeah,
if the secret's out, like that he'd get hunted, or like it's like in
I
protocol.
think
but
yeah, he's way off baseline, but yeah, I just feel like it's like they still get like a grace period or of some sort. I mean, I'm sure you could order them dead, but yeah, like Madam likes him, so she can pull the strings.
yeah, covers for him.
Yeah.
That's when I believe that's when the three-way happens, right? Right after that.
I think so. Yep, you're right. You're right.
Where Kay goes back home, you know, a little emotional as
you do.
the previous scenes, as you are when you figure out you're a real boy.
Yeah.
And we get to the scene where Joy has hired Mariette as a body double, body replacement. I don't even know how to describe it. Where she hires the prostitute that Kay met earlier because Joy says, "Oh, you liked her," so as a way for Joy to get closer to Kay, she kind of, I don't know, puts her face on
Yeah.
on Mariette's face.
They sink.
And
Sync up.
You're right. They sync up. Like, what'd she say? Shh, I'm sinking.
Yeah, she's like,
Yes.
yeah, I gotta sync. And it,
Quiet. I'm sinking.
funnily enough, they really didn't sync that well anyway.
It was like
Yeah,
hazy.
I mean, yeah,
But-
I mean, I guess that's the best you can do.
I mean, it was cool
That-
because like Kay was hesitant because he's like, I don't want this whore, I want you, you know. But she's like, this is the best we can do, you know. Like let's just pretend, let's play pretend. And he's like, all right, let's see what.
And-
Well, she wanted.
Sex
yeah, I mean,
is.
she was the one that wanted to be basically real. Like I think that maybe that's kind of poetic. Like he thought he was real, and that she wanted to be also real, at least experience.
Yeah, real for him.
Yeah,
right,
real. I want
yeah.
to be real for you. Yeah, isn't that what she said? Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is confusing.
It's
And, like,
sad.
Because like I know earlier in
Yeah.
the movie when they went out in the rain together, I guess we kind of skipped that one when she made him dinner and all that. I mean, we
yeah.
talked a little bit.
Also, nice scene.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, like like she looked like she got like after she got her present, she looked like she got like wet. I mean, innuendo.
Yeah, should have put the plastic bag
Yeah, I know.
over there,
Well, no,
man.
I mean, it kind of looked like she had some physical elements to her, but I mean, I guess at the end of the day, he was not really touching anything, and that was funny when when Madam called him and Anna froze.
She froze.
We were like,
It's like
oh
when
my
somebody
god,
calls you while you're watching a YouTube
bro.
video.
Yeah.
But it,
That's-
like
that's
100
the same
times
energy.
worse. That just happened to me.
It's the same
That just
energy.
happened to me today. I was like, I wasn't like anything weird, but like I was on the toilet, and I had, what did I do? I got like a return call from some from some tech support I had to get, and it actually worked really well. But I still had like this open ticket, and they emailed me, and then I was like doing some stupid shit on my phone. I think I was drawing because I had one of those pens, and I was like drawing on it, and all of a sudden I get like a call from like HP or whatever, and I was
Oh
like,
my
oh yeah,
God.
you can close that ticket. Sorry.
Jeez.
Anyway.
That happens to me constantly when I'm listening to music in the car, and then someone will call, and they hang up, and then it's loud as fuck, and I'm like, ah! The music's playing again.
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling meme, Alyssa. God
God damn it! Gosh darn!
Listen, why are you acting like you never swear?
I know, right? It's so funny
the
when
Mormons
people,
are over. Are over our house.
dude, when people swear in front of the kids and then they apologize to me, like, "Oh, I'm sorry." I was like, "Yeah." Like I took the kids to a Thanksgiving party at the school yesterday, and one of the ladies like said shit. And she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I swore in front of your kids," and I just laughed. I
Yeah.
was like, "They hear worse than that at home. You're fine."
You're worse than that shit.
Yeah.
So I like that Mariette's like name is like could be Marionette.
Yeah.
Because
Like a
Joy
doll,
ends up
yeah.
puppeting
Very
her
good.
for that at least a little bit amount of time.
I mean,
Sure, I
really,
think
if
that's-
you
that's
are,
a
if she is a
detail.
replicant, I mean, yeah, I mean, you really are just basically a marionette. I mean,
Pretty much.
especially a sex worker replicant.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, like as Aqua was saying, like oh, I want to be real for you, right? I find that so like heartbreaking because
Oh
like
my god.
at least to me, like Joy actually really loves Kay.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you
That's
see it.
He
just
loves
way
her
of
You
too.
see it in the
close, like-
her final moments. She does.
And then after that whole sex scene, I think Mariette places a tracker in his coat,
The mouth tracker.
and then yeah, the little
fake tooth
I don't
tracker.
know what that one-
Yeah.
Yeah, the fake tooth tracker. And then we get a little bit more of like Anna AI being kind of real because she's like a little bit like pissed at Mariette.
Jealous.
I don't think she sees the
It's-
tracker, but she's like, get out of
Right.
my house.
I don't think she
She's
did.
all, I'm
already.
done with you.
Yeah, and it was funny. I mean, that happened, and then, like you said, Mariette seemed to. I mean, she looked at the carving. I still don't know if she was
Yeah.
reacting to the memory. I mean, I'm still up in the air
I think
about
that's
that.
her memory.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Is that confirmed? I still don't. I don't know.
Because later on other replicants have the memory of the horse. So like I don't know why she did this, but I guess Anna implanted memories of the horse to multiple replicants.
Oh, maybe. Well, they might have had. They might have had that anyway. I know what you mean. I just. We'll get to it later, but yeah, because like one of the final scenes when that whole rebel group is talking to Kay, but anyway,
They're water damaged.
yeah, the
sewer
flooded
house.
basement. But like, okay, but I'm trying to remember the scene. Yeah, she takes the tracker out, and yeah, and she reacts to the horse a little bit. But yeah, I don't think Anna saw it or Joy saw it. But you're right. I did kind of think it is kind of an interesting play, I guess, because like you're right. It was Joy being kind of real, like in a real way, kind of being jealous or whatever.
Like, yeah, we're done with you.
Yeah,
right?
we're done with
It's
you.
like,
Which I did.
You're only meant for this. We're
Which
done
was
with you.
funny because I mean, it's like I don't know. It does seem like she has like this almost misogynistic streak in her in a weird way. Like I don't know what that really means or what that is exactly. But I think it is. What I'm trying to say is that it is kind of a human emotion. Basically, you said it. You said it better than I did. Like she is. She's kind of real with that. She's keeping it kind of real. When keeping it real goes wrong.
And then we cut to because like after that, after like the tracker thing is like they actually tried to go and find like the origins of where this wooden horse would come from, like where it probably originated, and so they leave on that quest. Oh, one of the interesting things I thought was that the guy who was identifying the wooden horse and like what it was made of and things like that, he mentions that like, oh, with like this wooden horse you could buy a real horse.
Right.
And I'm like, oh yeah, there's no trees.
Right.
Wood is like expensive
Right.
as fuck.
Mhm.
People want wood. They would pay good money for that wooden horse, even though it's like a small piece of crap to us. People would pay like thousands
not-
and
it's a hell of
thousands
a
of dollars
novelty.
for that thing.
Wait, we should mention that earlier in the movie we made some reference about "Look at me, I'm the replicant now" or something
Oh,
like
yeah,
that,
'cause it's
and then
the-
we
yeah.
had no idea that he would show up
Oh,
later.
yeah.
The same actor as the guy who identifies the wood.
Yo,
That's so funny.
But yeah, and also like a good representation because Wallace has wooden walls, and you know that shit was fucking probably millions of dollars to put like the wooden walls
oh
around.
wow,
him
yeah,
in
with
his
the
little
yeah,
underground pool shit.
yep, his cult
So,
headquarters.
yeah, his little cult pool thing. So yeah, he mentions that. I don't know how he identifies it. He smells it a little bit.
Yeah,
He smells the wooden
was
horse.
a
And
little
he's like, "This is
confused.
from Vegas."
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. He more or less that is kind of what he said. He's like, oh yeah, it's
This is from Vegas.
yeah,
Oh,
it's
And then like you mentioned Aqua, that's where he's like, but there was a dirty bomb that went off there, so kind of don't want to go there. It's probably a little radioactive now.
yeah. I mean, I totally get why Kay's not afraid to go. Which I'm actually why isn't every replicant like going there to chill?
Right.
Well, I guess it depends with the level of radioactive.
I guess so. I mean,
right?
can
Because you got the elephant thing from Chernobyl, right?
Yeah.
That, like melts shit.
well then
on-
yeah.
on
I'm just
on
if
site,
Decker's
right?
living there, fine. I guess maybe Decker's the only one.
maybe he's on the outskirts.
Yeah, or,
he's not close
I'm just
to where
thinking
the bomb went
Decker's the
off.
only one with the cojones to like actually try to live out there. Everybody else is like afraid.
Yeah, to be fair, he's got a fucking sick ass setup. So
No, I know. Well, that's what I'm
Someplace
saying.
that-
I might take my chances at a dirty bombed Vegas
Right.
if no one's there. But I'm sure a lot of people would. I've got millions of bottles of whiskey.
So what's it called? We get to the scene where Love like kind of like talks to the lieutenant or like interrogates her.
Yeah.
Right.
Intense scene.
Yeah. Yeah, it is an intense scene. The reason I love it so much is because the lieutenant like defends Kay.
Yeah.
She doesn't give up where he's going or how to track him. I think that's like beautiful because like Love and her relationship with Wallace is that he's always trying to. I mean, she's always trying to gain approval from him, and he's never gonna be the guy like the lieutenant's being like the person who would like protect you even if that cost them their life. And you can see a little bit of hurt in her eyes that like someone would do that for a replicant,
Right.
but the person she adores would never do that for
Right.
her.
I agree. That is a cool kind of a connection, and yeah, she definitely. I mean, like Wallace is obviously like a crazy narcissist, right? Like,
Yeah, just loves himself. Probably thinks everyone's tools.
and I would imagine that love, I mean, was created by him, and probably doesn't recognize that other people aren't necessarily like that. I guess it's kind of a parental figure thing where it's like if your parents are awful, you might not even know that other parents can be great, you know. So
Right.
yeah,
right.
it's definitely kind of an allegory, I think, on that. My parents are great, by the way. Love them.
My parents are like the lieutenant.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, like such a painful interrogation though. Like she like lieutenant's holding like a glass of whiskey and just gets shattered in her hand.
That's cool.
And,
I
like,
mean,
like Love's just crushing her hand
brutal,
over the shattered glass. Like
Yeah.
really cool. Like whoever wrote that had fire coming out of their pen. You know the gif.
But yeah. So what's it called? I guess I think that's how. I'm not sure if like that's how Love eventually tracks down
is.
Kay,
Mhm.
or if it's because he's carrying a Joy and that's one of their products.
No,
so,
because
I
they
don't
took
know.
the
Either
antenna
way.
off because she said delete me. We should mention that too. Yeah, I mean, well, we don't have to,
Delete
but that really did hamper her. That's why she did go to the lieutenant because Joy said take off the antenna, and she did. And Love was having a meeting with somebody with a drill site who owns a drill site, and she's like, she says we usually don't give the drill site replicants much personality unless you were looking for a pleasure model as well. And it was like just some lady who was sitting there, and then all of a sudden she gets like a ding ding, and I think that was indication that the antenna was taken off of Joy, and then so that's when she goes to the lieutenant, and then kills the lieutenant, and then
Yeah, the same way like Leto kills the other replicant.
oh yeah,
Stab in the
yeah.
stomach.
I kind of noticed that subconsciously, but that's a good point I think she was mirroring Wallace. That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool. 'Cause yeah, like approval, and she's like, I'm gonna tell Wallace that you shot at me first. She's such a
gonna
brat.
say that I stabbed him in the same way.
Yeah, she really is
Yeah.
the brat. I do love
She's
her.
a brat.
I think she's a great villain.
She is.
And anyway, that's when she kills her, and then I believe the lieutenant tried to, like, I don't know, she shut down the computers, but then obviously it was just takes a face scan. So, like, I don't know what the lieutenant's
I think
plan
that's when
was.
I asked Alyssa, "Can you like unlock a phone if
Yeah.
someone's dead?"
Right, yeah. I thought the scanner, especially in 2049, would be able to see if there's like a pulse to your face.
Nope.
Nope. Nope.
Not that one.
But yeah, that's when when she tracks Kay down right then.
Yeah. Yeah, that's when we get to Vegas, and it's one of like the cooler set pieces I think because of the orange lighting and like the dust storm.
Massive statues.
Yeah.
Massive statues. So the orange like dust storm is a reference to when Australia in Sydney, when they were dealing with bad drought and like dust storms would what's it called, go through the city, and that's exactly what it looked like. If you look at those pictures, is like that orange hue that's just surrounding the air.
I mean,
thought that was like a really
you might have
cool
seen that during the
reference.
Dust Bowl in the U.S., but that was a long time ago, and I don't think it went through any huge cities. But yeah, that's interesting. Cool.
Yeah. What's it called? Oh yeah, and then we have Kay walking through the. Oh wait, he figures out that there's like heat signatures coming from a building, and then he lands, and then that's like the whole scene of him walking the beautiful background.
Yeah, and
wallpaper
those
background
massive
engine.
statues. I was still trying to figure out what they were, and it's funny. There was like two women, like almost looking like they're kissing. I didn't know if that statue, if they're one. I think one might have fallen, and it was maybe a dude, and those girls were giving him a BJ. I don't know. It looked kind of like that.
I don't know.
I mean, Alyssa, you're an expert. No, I'm just kidding. Like, are you an expert on massive statues? Giving people BJs? But no.
One of those is true.
Yeah, right, exactly. But no, I don't. Anyway, it was just funny because the second time I watched it, it was like you could see these two massive statues kneeling. Anyway, I think what my point is that it really was like a big monument to debauchery. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I could see why. Like even now, there's certain people who probably don't like Vegas for its reputation, but especially if you're building these massive sex statues, I feel like maybe they had it coming with the dirty bomb. I'm just saying. But yeah, that's a cool scene, and then he finds the bees, which I'm not exactly sure what that means.
And like,
Yeah.
Alyssa didn't like that scene because he just stuck his whole hand in there.
Oh, God.
I am the queen now.
I hate it.
Well, that's
I don't know how true this is, but Denise said like bees are a really good indication if radiation exists in the area.
I've heard
like, they will
that
not
too.
they will not go around that area.
okay. Oh, is that what it is? Yeah, it is. That's got to be a deep cut of something. I don't know what the bees are all about. Because in some ways, I can see how the bees might even thrive in a radioactive area. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm not a biologist.
Biologist,
I am a bee movieologist. That's true.
So we have Kay walking through like the penthouse. I guess you can call it like hotel, or I don't know. It could be just a
I think it's just a
penthouse or
casino.
penthouse or
Yeah,
something.
just like the
Yeah,
high
casino,
roller
something-
room of
something
a
like that.
casino.
High roller. Like high rollers. That's where the people who spend a lot of money in Vegas. That's where they get put. Right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's it called? And then we have the cheese line, right?
Well, yeah,
Harrison
Treasure
Ford,
Island.
like-
Apparently, I never heard this line.
Yeah.
I don't know how you get. Do you have some cheese? Like, how does that the Treasure Island line? How do you know that that's what
I
he's
don't know,
referencing? Like,
it's such like a deep cut.
I mean, it is, but
because it's a story about a man marooned on
Sure.
an island and then sees a person for the first time, which is supposed to be like a reference to Harrison Ford, like being marooned out there.
I don't
Right.
mind
seeing somebody for a long time.
I think that's a cool reference. I just think it could have been. I don't know how you. I just I don't like the line of like just a random thing about giving a dog cheese, and that's all of a sudden a Treasure Island quote. Like, you know what I mean? Like I've said that about dogs, and like that doesn't mean I read Treasure Island.
Denis was like,
Yeah, I just think it could have been like a
When he's
better
writing
line
that.
from the book or something, like a little bit more of description, like a cool like passage from the book that he says
Mhm.
rather than, "Do you have some cheese for this dog?" Like that's literally the line. And I was like, "What? How's that Treasure Island?" I mean, good for Treasure Island. I believe that's in the book, but I just didn't know. It just seems a little weird that that automatically just is a Treasure Island quote just because you say cheese for dog.
Really?
All right, sorry for the rant. I'm so mad. God damn it.
Damn it. What we get? Oh yeah, then they get to like a big fight because obviously Harrison Ford doesn't trust a random guy just walking into his
Right.
his little penthouse. So they get into a big fight. They like fight throughout the casino floor. I think that's what it is. And then they get to the showroom where there's the Elvis hologram just dancing. That scene is like
It's so
equally funny and creepy at the same
It's
time.
terrifying.
Dude.
Yeah, because the parts where like the hologram is working, the music is so loud.
Yeah.
Yep. Dude, no, it's so good. The glitchiness, and that's some like almost analog horror if you think about it.
Yeah.
It's so good, and I love
Very
how it goes
Tupac at the music festival hologram
Dude.
feels.
Yeah, I love how it goes to different eras. You'll see Elvis, which is mainly what it is, and then you see Marilyn Monroe at one point. And then you see,
Sinatra.
oh yeah, well, so you see Sinatra at one point too. But yeah. There's also they also do like God dang, what do you call it? I mean, other kind of like dancers, and then they do like '60s go-go dancers at one point, very briefly, and I just love how they go through the different eras. I love it, and yeah, and old Blue Eyes at one point in that little old timey like weird capsule thing. Like some of this stuff
Yeah,
could
I
be
guess
in
that.
Vegas right now, honestly.
That's true. You just have to be rich enough to afford that penthouse, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in there though. It's funny when they were having the fight scene. I guess this is like funny like knowledge, but when they were doing like the punching scene, there's a part where Harrison Ford actually punches Ryan Gosling.
Oh.
And they actually use that scene. If you pause at the right moment, you can see like the shock on Ryan's face
I'm
and
gonna
like the
I'm gonna
surprise on
rewatch it.
Harrison's because he cracked him in one of those punches
mean-
like
Oh,
for real.
shit.
What a fucking honor. I'm sure Ryan was not at all mad. Dude, getting punched
I
by
thought that
Han
was so
Solo? Are you
funny.
kidding?
This is Ryan's face like, and then like Harrison Ford's like,
Oh, whoops, sorry.
That's so funny. I'm gonna
I
rewatch
thought
it.
that was like a fun detail.
He punched a handsome
Yeah,
man.
handsome man. I don't know. Yeah.
Not so handsome anymore. Huh?
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Imagine if someone punched Harrison Ford back in Star Wars. I bet he'd be real
Oh,
mad.
Jesus. He'd be freaked. Yeah.
Oh man, you could tell like I was like mentioning like he usually just plays like a grumpy character, like that's been most of his characters because he's just been rehashing like old characters from his past movies. You can tell like Harrison Ford like he just shows up to movie sets and then just reads
I
lines.
mean, yeah,
he doesn't
he's-
care about
he's-
anything else.
That's part of his charm, but he was never much of a like. Yeah, I mean, even in Star Wars, he was definitely that guy that showed up because he was like a carpenter or some shit, right? And like so. I mean, I know what you mean though. Like he definitely has that kind of like.
Yeah. But it's good in this movie
he's-
because that's his whole
Yeah,
character,
right. Like
is being grumpy.
That aura can definitely be like that can work in the right movie for sure. But yeah, what a great scene that is. I'm gonna rewatch it because that's one of my favorite. I'm with you. That's one of my favorite scenes.
What's it called? So they finally like get to talking because as much as Deckard is trying to punch Kay's face in, he doesn't fight back. So he's not there to actually harm him. So they actually
Right.
do get to talking about like Deckard and all the like Rachel and all that. There's like some important like stuff like context about like knowing what's real and things like that. But I thought there's like cool Easter eggs. So you know how we mentioned Sinatra as a hologram. So the producer of the first Blade Runner was what was his name? Buddy Yorkins. And the reason that's important is because he also produced the first Frank Sinatra movie too. So I thought that was like a nice little nod to him as well.
And the song he's singing is what is it? Set 'em up, Joe.
Yeah. But yeah, they talk about Rachel and like how they had to keep the child safe. Ooh, before I forget, there's another cool thing. If you notice, Harrison Ford, or sorry, Deckard's character, he never holds anything correctly with his right hand, and that's because if you watch the first movie, he gets his fingers broken, and immediately after that movie, they have to be on the run. So he never really gets his fingers set in the same place, or he never gets it checked out. And realigns them. So every time he's holding like his drink or the binoculars, he's always holding it like
Holy
in a
shit.
claw formation
God
because he
damn it.
cannot use these two
I
fingers.
fucking hate myself for not noticing that. That's cool as hell. Yeah, and the way he gets it broken is by our main bad guy. He just
By replicant.
Yeah, actually, I was going to mention this. I mean, he was reaching through a wall at one point, and the replicant breaks his fingers, which is great. But there's like this. There does seem to be. I think the homage in the first scene. I think that was an homage when he busts him through the wall. When Sapper busts K through the wall. That might be an homage to the first movie where there was a lot of wall, like a lot of things going through walls. Especially in that scene
Like
where he gets his fingers
WWE
broken.
match, basically.
Yeah.
With people just going through.
Or maybe that just happens in movies all the time, I guess. But I don't know. It felt like an homage to me.
But yeah, it's a cool talk between them. Like, Deckard's like, "What's your name?" And then Kay gives him his serial code, and he's like, "That's not a name. What's your name?"
Right.
And then he goes with the name that his Joy gave him, which is Joe.
Regular Joe. You're a good Joe.
Yeah, regular Joe. They kind of mentioned what happened with Rachel and the baby, and I can't tell if this is like a profound line or if it's just like just like a whatever. But like, to love somebody, you have to be a stranger to them.
Sometimes when you love somebody, you have to be a stranger to them. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean
I
it's
can't tell if
profound.
that's-
It is.
right?
I mean, especially
It's
when
pretty-
people are like
yeah.
after you or her or whatever. Yeah. You have to keep your distance.
It's similar to if you love something, let it go. You know,
If you,
sometimes it's better.
if you love someone who is in danger when they're around you, then you have to let them go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely I don't know. It is a good line. I'll give you that.
But yeah, that we figured that we figure out that he's the one that dropped her at the orphanage, just to keep his distance because they couldn't know that what's it called, the child was alive, because then they would hunt her down as they were trying to hunt him and Rachel. We get a little bit of like him like being like, oh, like I really loved Rachel, like I know the theory is that Deckard's a replicant, and we get a little bit more on that later, but like
It's hard
he
to
can
say.
tell like it's like genuine emotion that he feels towards her, and like things that can't like be replicated ever again. Replicated, like experiences and like emotions that can never be replicated with something else because they were real. I thought that was like a cool line. Fast forward a little bit, I believe that's
Yeah.
when
They get
the
caught.
Wallace Company tracks them down.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Like a-
Love
like
had it.
A little like a hint towards it is that the dog leaves. For a
Right, yeah,
second,
the dog
because he
was-
like senses that the ships
the
are
dog
coming.
was whining. Yeah, it was. Yeah, exactly. And that's the unfortunate sequence where they try to
This
find.
is where the movie loses Alyssa
Yep.
Oh,
I was like, God damn it.
because the dog is not accounted
Well,
for. She's like,
yeah,
"Ah,
I
fuck
mean,
this
I
movie."
think it mostly is gonna be alive. I don't think. Yeah, I know what you mean. I can't.
How's he supposed to get water and food, Aqua? He's in the freaking
I don't
dirty
know.
bomb
I
desert
don't
got
even know if it's a
beer.
real dog, so it's gonna be fine.
He's got beer. He's fine.
Yeah, he's got the beer. He's got the whiskey. Millions of bottles.
He's got the
But-
bees.
Yeah,
He's
got the
eating
bees.
bees.
Not the bees.
Eating bees.
But
I like that scene because like the ships coming in like kind of resemble bees going through like a colony as they're like buzzing through to shoot missiles at them. By the way, sucks, man. That place was sweet, and now it's like covered in shrapnel.
I know.
I know.
But yeah,
that was a pretty cool spot.
Legion and I were joking during the movie that the people were just eating the bees and throwing
Right.
away the honey. Like, ew, this is
Yeah.
gross.
Oh yeah, that was. I don't know.
We don't know what honey
Might be
is.
radioactive honey. Maybe they're cleaning up the radioactivity into the honey or whatever.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, they start running for Kay's ship or someone's
Car,
ship.
yeah,
either
some
way,
car. I think it might be Kay's.
They start running for it, And yeah, Aqua mentions that he as Harrison opens the door and runs through, but Kay busts
That
through a
was so
freaking
funny.
wall.
Yeah.
I when I think of the just to go off topic, when I think of the child that's born from Rachel, is that supposed to be part replicant or human?
I mean, that's the question I think of the movie, right? Like,
Yeah, because you can argue that Kay's not the child in that moment because no more human could just bust through
yeah,
a
I know what you
concrete
mean.
wall
Yeah,
that
it's
instantly.
kind of. I think he's
So,
a little delusional.
So I don't know why he thinks he's the child.
He's
right?
a little
Yeah.
delusional, thinking he's the real child. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was cool. But yeah, we get the sad scene as the Wallace forces overwhelm them and capture Deckard and take him away to the corporation, and the little mobile device that holds Joy falls out of Kay's pocket. Man. And just as Love was about to kill Kay,
And she says, "Thank you very much for. I hope you've enjoyed our product."
yeah, Anna steps in and is like, "No."
I love you.
And then Love turns her attention to him and then promptly smashes the mobile device, killing Joy because she's in that device.
Yeah, that's the only place
permanently,
she's in
so-
because she had to be wiped from his home
Yep.
because she had all her memories. Yeah.
And that's where I said, fuck
Yeah, fuck
this
this movie.
movie. She's all, I love you.
I love you.
I was like,
But yeah, it's a great scene. Also, to me, that also just separates her from actually being a product
Right.
because
That she
does,
was real. Like,
I feel like that. I
all
feel
her
like
memories
that's
made her human.
Because if you were a product, wouldn't you be trying to be used again as
yeah.
as a tool? But she just that's her death basically.
Sad.
Death of Joy. Very sad.
But yeah, now they want to bring Decker in to
Yeah.
basically torture him. They want to bring him off world to torture him, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know the thought process. Why can't you just torture him?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, they have some crazy shit on other planets. I mean,
well, we're gonna throw
I
you
guess-
into Jupiter. Good
I
luck.
guess at first, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to take over, but I guess they do bring him back to the cult, water temple or whatever, and they try to seduce him with a Rachel replicant. I did notice. I watched the first movie. I really think her eyes were brown in the movie.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't watched it.
Yeah.
So it could be. So
Yeah.
So Deckard's.
They didn't
fucking
look.
lying.
Yeah, I think
He
Deckard.
never really loved her.
Yeah, well, no,
He doesn't
maybe
know her
I
eye
think
color for
Deckard just
real.
wanted to get under their skin because they they try to seduce him with
She had no eyes.
yeah.
yeah.
So I guess that to be fair, yeah, right. I guess to be fair, that was their first, attempt because he just kind of wakes up and they're like, oh, we have a Rachel for you, and yeah, they try to be nice that way, but he rejects her and Love shoots her in the head after he
Yeah.
rejects her.
Oh, we get a little scene where Wallace is trying to hint that Deckard's a replicant. It's like, don't you think the reason why you fell for her so hard is because you were programmed to be that
Right,
way?
he did. He mentioned it. It
You were
is.
meant to feel
I don't
that
think
way.
the mystery will ever be answered to anybody's satisfaction.
Yeah. The Blade Runner fans are raging because
Right.
because it's still left ambiguous. Because he says, or is it real emotion? And
Yeah.
stuff, things, philosophical. Are you real because of your emotions or because of experience? But yeah, because Deckard fully rejects this copy that Wallace made to kind of mess with his brain, to give him what he wants so he could divulge the location of his child. Since he rejects it, he says kind of the thing I know what's real, because it kind of harkens back to his discussion with Kay. It's it's not because I can feel emotion. It's because the experiences I had with that person are real to me, and thus the emotions are real. Because you bring out a copy, it's not going to be the same because I don't experience the same things with her that I did with other
Right.
Rachel.
Kind of the same thing with Joy, really.
Yeah. Also, why I think Joy actually loved Kay.
Yeah, sure.
And,
I believe
I was
it.
reading a whole bunch of forums. They're like, Joy's just a product. She never she was
With enough
programmed to say all
memories
those things.
of
I'm like,
each other.
Oh, they had unique experiences
exactly.
together.
But then, we get to the rebel side of the replicants after they rescued Kay because they put a tracker in his coat and were able to take him out of Vegas. And it's where Kay realizes that he is not the chosen one.
No!
He's not the kid in the big story.
He's not the boy who lived.
Mm.
He is not the boy who lived. It is revealed that the child that they had to hide identity of was a girl, and thus it could not be him. But also like a nice like moment where the leader of the rebellion. All right. By the way, the reason why she's missing an eye is because that's how replicants look up to the left.
True.
Mm-hmm.
They have to remove their eyes so they don't get recognized
Gotcha.
as replicants. Because the only other way you would find out is if you found the serial code on their bones. So that's why they remove their eye. That's why she's missing an eye.
Mhm.
Anyway, she tells Kay like, "Oh, we all wish we were that child. It's what keeps us fighting. You know,
Yeah.
to think that we were the child." I don't know, a little bit of evidence to say that, like, oh, the horse memory's implanted in a bunch of replicants.
Right.
Because they all feel like they're the orphanage child. But I think it's like it's a cool moment because when Kay realizes that he's not the chosen one, it kind of breaks him because he thinks because he was born that he actually has purpose, he matters. He's allowed to feel things, but once that's taken away from him, he gets in his feelings. Like he doesn't feel like his life is worth something because he is just another replicant in the long line of millions of them. So he has to kind of like soul search a little bit, and that's where we get to the Joy advertisement.
Such a poignant
On
scene.
the,
I
the
mean,
big-
we kind of went over
the
it, but
big
yeah, you're
award.
just a regular Joe.
Yeah,
Or not Joe.
yeah.
sorry.
You guys can
You're
talk
a
about
good
it. I'll
Joe.
talk about it last.
I think that's what got
Yeah,
him. You're a good Joe.
You seem like a good Joe.
Hmm. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was sad. And he's like, damn, I miss her. And having to see that thing that looks exactly like her, but it's just, she's just like this naked slave product.
Right.
And he's like,
Yeah.
ugh,
Definitely, I think it
Yeah.
inspires him for sure. And he,
that kills. Yeah.
and then he gets real mad, and then he turns into ultra badass, and he goes after the three
Yep.
cars carrying Decker.
And he's all, you know what?
You know what?
I am going to do something after my second identity crisis.
Yeah, exactly.
So the reason why that scene's like so important to me, when I was younger and watching this movie in IMAX, it spoke to me because I think we all try to seek meaning in our lives. I think we all get lost in the distraction or the joy in our lives, right? Whether that's just YouTube or social media or things of the like, and to break yourself out of that and to find something that's worth fighting for really matters. And it's kind of what happens in that scene because there is a resolve in Kay afterwards.
Right.
Like, he realizes he's not the main character and, like, that he's not a child born, right?
Yeah. He's part
but
of it.
Just because, just because you're not that anymore doesn't mean you can't stand for something, right?
I mean,
Right.
that's what
You
the
know, like his life matters. He realizes that the things he does matters, and when he thought he lost that, he thought like none of his emotions or what he was feeling was valid, but that's not true. It's like the perception that you receive on yourself, right? He thought he was worth something because he was born, but without that, he still is. He still is deserving of things in his life, and that's why it had like such a profound meaning to me because I feel like I go through midlife crises like every other year and like things feel meaningless because I feel like sometimes I'm lost and don't know what I need to do with my life, and then sometimes you just got to find the resolve and find something worth fighting for, right? You know, stop watching YouTube and like and start enjoying your life, right? I kind of got tired of other people like telling me stories about the cool things they did, even if it was like super minor, like my friend just like volunteering at like a pet store and things like that, and just actually experiencing things. I think that's what like was part of me just getting better, or at least that was the start of it. It didn't happen until much later, but that's why that scene mattered to me so much. Like when I was watching in theaters, because I felt like I was lost like Kay, and then I had to find myself again, basically.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like, you know, you may not be the most important person in the world, but that doesn't make you any less important. You're still important. You know, your life still has meaning, and you can still, you know, have something to live for. Yeah.
Yeah, that you know the rebel leader lady definitely kind of said it. I think she had a line that said something very similar to that, like, "Oh yeah, my death is meaningless when it comes to this revolution," and it does kind of point to being just part of something bigger and stuff like that, and drawing inspiration from that. And well, I still watch YouTube, but I have definitely stopped doom scrolling so much.
Yeah.
I like.
Yeah, I think of that scene time to time when you do like your you think the camera's on you type
True.
of stance where you're just looking off into the horizon, whether it's scenery or just into the distance or looking at the rain. I often think about that scene. I'm like, just gotta lock back in.
Yeah.
Just gotta find my path and find meaning again.
Yeah.
And actually have fun stories to tell people. Things like that. But yeah, and then we get to
the
Kay
water fight.
tracking down the what's it called, Love and Deckard as they're about to ship him off world for torture. Again, I don't know what torture they can do.
I mean,
that
it
wouldn't
sounds
just be
really
available on
intense if it has
Earth.
to be off world for sure.
I guess.
Yeah.
Dang.
But yeah, like we have the whole like fight near the seawall. Like another like cool like shot scene just of like the light that of the like ship that Deckard's in and Kay fighting Love outside. She actually is during the fight scene she kind of gets the better of him a little bit and like stabs him.
Well, yeah.
Again, like what's it called, Wallace would do, and she kisses him just like
Right.
Wallace did to that girl.
That's true.
'Cause
I
she thinks that
I kind of
she
knew
killed
that,
him with
but
that stab.
that's a really good parallel. Yeah.
But yeah, they fight for a bit. Love thinks she won that
She
fight.
says, "I'm the
and
best
then-
one."
Yeah, I'm the best. What was it? Long live the king.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then she goes back to Deckard so she can like begin transporting again. And then we found out that Kay, he's a real one because he jumps out the water and like starts to drown her.
Right. No, the drowning sequence was so cool. They were
Like,
drowning each other really
Alyssa's
for
like,
a while.
Why did they have lungs?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty human, even if they're not fully human.
But yeah, like
He definitely takes mortal wounds in that fight.
Yeah.
He does. He gets stabbed a couple of times and gets hit hard a lot. But hey, I guess water beats everything else. So
Yep.
he takes her in the water and drowns her and saves Deckard, and then that's the situation or the excuse they use to cover up his death.
Right, he definitely drowned out there.
He died. He drowned in the Los Angeles Sea.
Yeah, wherever the hell that is, whatever that was. The wall.
All right, and then we get to where Kay takes Deckard to see his daughter.
Yep.
Another beautiful.
Oh my
scene.
God, for sure.
Because for the first time, Kay he dies for love, right? He dies so a father can see his
And he also
daughter
killed
again.
Love.
He also killed Love. And he dies for the idea that now the replicants, there's like a way forward for them to be free. He dies for meaning in his life.
He dies knowing it was worth it.
And yeah, like same scene like when he first met Anna, like the snow is falling in sunny Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And he lays onto the steps and he dies because he's been stabbed and blown up multiple times throughout this movie, and his injuries finally caught up to him.
Blown up in the casino too.
Yeah.
Right, that too. He's taken a couple of shrapnel hits, and then the same soundtrack that plays at the end of the first Blade Runner when Roy dies plays for Kay when he passes away too.
I guess
thought
I didn't
was
notice
like-
that. I should have. I guess I don't have a musical ear sometimes. And
yeah, my 30,000 minutes.
yeah,
Yeah.
But I thought that was a cool scene, and like another little fun fact: the short stories that were to connect the first movie to the movie we watched. One of them was animated. Let me check his name. It was animated by a Japanese director. He's the same director who directed Cowboy Bebop.
interesting.
And the reason why that's
That's
important is because the main character in that movie also dies on steps, dying for what he
my
believes
God.
in.
What? What? That's pretty cool.
It's awesome.
But yeah, that's.
And then you got one final scene with Decker and his daughter. He reaches up and he touches the glass, which is, well, very sweet.
Yeah.
She says, "Just a minute," and she was working on snow as well. Maybe that probably has a meaning to it, kind of a parallel, I guess, or an homage to the scene that just ended.
But yeah, it's like it's such a good scene. Actually, it's funny. Like, well, I was streaming yesterday, and Alyssa was like, "Oh, I like the saxophone song that you're playing." And what's it called? It's by this group called The Midnight. They're a retro punk wave band. Anyway, I've listened to that album several times, and then there's this very like sad song in the album, and in my head, I've always played that song over that scene of Kay dying on the steps. And funny enough, that song is called Synthetic.
Whoa.
It's like a nice like sad song about there's nothing human left in me.
Dang.
And I've always like in my editor brain, I've always put that soundtrack on when Kate's passing away.
Like, you have to edit that and like I don't know, upload it or something. That'd be funny.
Yeah.
Or more like just fun. Yeah. No.
But yeah, that's a Blade
Yeah,
Runner.
I mean, I know we're a little over time, but I mean, I think
we're over time. You know what? We might as well close out with some finishing thoughts, and I have. Some
I was gonna say, you guys know how I feel about it. I mean, it was my choice. I don't think I need to go on about it. I just love it, and I don't know. I'd love to hear your thoughts more than my own.
Yeah, it was a good movie. I enjoyed it quite a bit, and I am going to rewatch it with Brandon.
Heck yeah.
Well, you know me. Denis, my boy.
Yeah, dude.
When I heard he was gonna be directing the Dune movies, I was so excited because I love this movie and I love Sicario so much. Also, Rival 2, which is stuff he's directed, because he's very. You can tell he really thinks about how he plans out shots and how things like go, because just from I cut down my research by a lot just so I can fit it in the podcast, but just by what I've said, you can tell that he's really thought about like intricate details throughout the movie.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool. Acting's awesome all around.
Dude, I love
Even
the actors.
Jared Leto gets to like lean into his character. It's one of the few sequels that doesn't shit on the first movie.
That's true. It's a fucking amazing sequel.
I know that's like an extreme thought, but it happens so much.
It does.
Where they're like, fuck that first movie. But this one's very respectful of its content and even the books and just of everything about it. I can't say it's like my top 10, but it's in 15.
Okay,
which is pretty
fair
good.
enough. Yeah, I mean, I would probably put it in my top 10, but I'd have to. I haven't really thought about listing out my top 10 or anything, but it would probably get in there for sure.
Let's see. Oh yeah. Cool details. All the set pieces, all the cityscapes. Besides like the farmland shots and some things like that, all miniatures.
Okay. I thought maybe
in the first movie they did miniatures, and Denis liked that concept because although CGI has come a long way, he says that like the miniatures from the first movie cannot like be they can't be replicated with CGI. So he's like, I'm gonna do my own miniatures, and we're gonna do the same thing. And I thought that was like a cool thing because you do feel like a little like it feels more real. It feels like tactile, like things you can actually feel.
Like I say, the first movie holds up very well with VFX, man.
What's it called? What was another one? In what's it called? In the credits, when the actors' names appear on screen, a cool thing they do is like all like the replicant names are glitched out in the credits, but all the human names stay stagnant.
I thought I was gonna watch the credits and I didn't. I was like, maybe I should, and I didn't.
So it's also back to my theory of Deckard's not a replicant because his name doesn't glitch. But Ryan Gosling's does, and so does Love's, and so does Joy's because they're all robots.
I mean, artificial of some sort. Yeah, that's great. That's cool.
But yeah, that's all my fun facts. We'll have more, but we're strapped for time already.
It's good.
That's all right.
It's all good. Well, let's wrap it up, huh?
All right.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for listening to my favorite movie, or my choice for movie, at least.
Of all time.
My favorite movie of all time. Blade Runner 2049. And I guess we kind of talked about the first one, too. So it's both, kind of, in a way. Maybe we'll do the first one day. It'd be kind of a weird one. But thanks so much for watching. My name is Relytan.
I'm Alyssa Riot.
And I'm Legion Line at Legion Line on Twitch. If you guys are listening right now, please give us a 5-star rating on whatever platform you're using, whether it be Spotify or something else. It really helps us with discoverability, and we'd like new people listening to the podcast.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Thank you for listening.